It's here. The grand finale of the Thursday Night Blitz game of the week is jumping out of your TV. Revitalized Brunswick looks to finish the season with a win against Ware County. The Pirates sail into Waycross looking to skewer the Gators. It's Georgia high school football one last time, and it's right here now. Get ready! The Thursday Night Blitz game of the week, brought to you by Ford, is on the air.
We are live just north of the Okefenokee Swamp in Waycross, Georgia, the center of Ware County, for live local high school football. The Gators of Ware County taking on the Pirates of Brunswick. Hi, everybody. I'm WSAV Sports Director Ken Slatz. Dusty Ziegler for the second time joining me this season. So glad to have you in the broadcast booth.
So glad to be back with you, Ken, and the production crew down there. Those guys are great. I enjoy myself.
Well, Dusty, we're going to start with the visitors. For the Brunswick Pirates, the season is over as far as the playoffs, but they're on a 2-game winning streak. And how important is that for a football team to head out of here on a 3-game winning streak into next year with a young football team?
It builds confidence, you know. You finish off the season strong, and your young guys, they have that much more confidence, and they dream about football in the offseason. It helps them come back strong. It really does.
Well, let's check out our flashback. Just last week, a big game for the Brunswick Pirates taking on the Richmond Hill Wildcats. And here goes Richmond Hill taking over the lead. Brian Hughes with a fake handoff. QB keeper. They found themselves down just a couple of weeks ago, but in the second quarter, that's when the comeback began. Sean Smith to Corday Bradley for the touchdown, and what a huge win that was. The start of a 2-game winning streak as Brunswick knocked off the Richmond Hill Wildcats. Of course, they went on to beat the Bradwell Tigers as well. So as I said, 2 games, 2 wins, after a very difficult season in which they lost 6 straight. But that just gives these players so much more confidence going into a huge game like this.
Absolutely. You know, they got something to ride on. And, you know, like I said, they have that much more confidence coming back. And football's fun for them.
All right, for the Pirates, there's no real pressure, obviously, not making the playoffs. This is just one incredible, great opportunity tonight.
It's going to have a great battle in our hands, but, you know, our kids are excited about the opportunity. We haven't beaten Ware County looking in the record book since, I think, 2002. So we're up to the challenge. We know, you know, it's at their place. They kind of, you know, handed it to the kids last year pretty good. And they're excited to get over there and see, you know, how far we've grown over this year.
Dusty, that's first-year head coach Larry Harold with bringing a new revived attitude to this Brunswick football team. Really nothing special with the keys to the game, but when you're a young football team like this, take us through them. You
got to focus on the simple things about football, and controlling the line of scrimmage is the key element.
And that's coming from an offensive lineman.
That's right. It's both sides of the ball, though. I tell you what, you know, when they're out there on defense, they cannot let the offense be explosive. They got to take away the explosion. And turnover battle, every game of football at every level, win the turnovers. You have a better chance of winning the game.
And I think throughout the season on the Thursday Night Blitz, coaches have pretty much said that every time. It's something maybe your regular fan doesn't think about, but the turnover battle is so very important on every game.
Absolutely. I mean, if you were to go back and study the statistics on the turnovers, you'll see that the team that wins the turnovers has a better chance of winning the game every time.
Well, that gives us a chance now to talk on the other side of the coin, the hometown. What a great facility this is at the Swamp at Old Memorial Stadium in Waycross. And for Ware County, it's pretty simple for them. If they win tonight, they do lock up a playoff spot, and they don't have to worry about any other combination.
They're fighting for a lot tonight, and I'm sure they want to get this one under their belt, but I don't think it's going to be easy for them.
No, it won't be easy. And, you know, last week they went into a huge game against South Effingham for our flashback, and this was pretty big, too, because they have been in a playoff-type atmosphere for 3 weeks now on Halloween, and they came out strong, too, with maybe a surprise player. Coaches hadn't seen this all year long. Jaquez Bowles with a big touchdown. It made it 6-0 Gators on top. And the Rebels, though, coming back, they came in with just one region loss as well. Tyler Pullum to Luke McCann, and that made it 7-6 with a nice catch in the corner of the end zone. And Gators right back. He was our performance of the week on the WSAV Friday Night Blitz. Look at Bowles. Jaquez Bowles breaking through 66 yards for this touchdown run, made it 12-7. South Effingham making it tight at the end of the second quarter, but the second half, it was all Ware County, and they come in with a lot of momentum as well, 36-13. And this team's on a roll. They hit a couple of bumps earlier in the season with a couple of losses, but they know it's pretty simple right now. Get that win and go into playoff time.
Absolutely. And I tell you, with Bowles doing what he did in the last game, he's coming in here strutting his stuff. And he's explosive coming out of the backfield. I tell you what, it's a great athlete.
Well, Ware County is most likely heading to the playoffs. Brunswick is not. Coach Stevens, he has tons of respect tonight for the Pirates.
You would really want it to be a tune-up, but I think Brunswick's going to be a handful based on the success they've had the last 2 weeks. I think they've kind of got it figured out which direction they want to go in, and just dealing with the athleticism of the kids and the physicality of the kids that they have. Anytime you get big, fast people and you put them on the football field, there's going to be some collisions going on. There's going to be some physicality and other things that you're going to have to endure.
Again, Coach Stevens has had a lot of success everywhere he's been. We'll talk more about his career, but he's doing a great job down here in Ware County, and those things don't really surprise you. Offensive turnovers, I think with the wing T offense, that's the main key for his offense to get going.
Absolutely. Hold on to the ball. Let those pulling guards get out there on that buck sweep, do what they do. And of course, don't give up the big play. Make the big play, okay? And as always, I would tell every football team, win the kicking game.
Kicking game and the turnover battle, those are two huge advantages if you can eliminate them. As you see the band here at Memorial Stadium, what a great atmosphere it is, and we're ready for live local high school football, whether you're tuning in online on WSAV.com or on WSAV's MyLC. We're set to bring you a phenomenal football game. We'll have more coming up on the Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week.
The Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Go further. Stick around. Kickoff is next.
Welcome back to the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week, brought to you by Ford. Go further. We are live at Memorial Stadium in Waycross, just north of the Okefenokee Swamp. What a beautiful area here down in South Georgia for a huge Region 3 5A football game between the Ware County Gators with a record of 7-2 overall, 5-2 in the region, and the Brunswick Pirates 3-6 with an opposite record in the region at 2-5. Larry Harold taking over as his first season at Brunswick. He's 22-21-1 in his season overall. And boy, Franklin Stevens has built a powerhouse wherever he's gone. His 9th year, 108 wins in 9 years of football. So we expect us to a really solid football game tonight. Two teams, obviously, I think if you're Brunswick, you're playing where you're really not playing for the playoffs, but you've won 2 straight. You've gotten that confidence back. And this Brunswick team, I think Coach Stevens, as veteran as he is as a head coach, knows this isn't a game you can overlook whatsoever.
Absolutely not. There's a lot of pride to be had in this game. These guys have to go out there and give it their all, and I know they're going to do that, and that's what's going to make it a good ball game to watch, folks.
All right, let's take you down to the midfield for our subway. Coin toss.
Green, you won the toss. Green is one to toss. They'll defer. Football this half. Turn your backs down here and kick this. White. You'll face them. White. Come on this side. Shake hands, guys.
So the Brunswick Pirates will receive the football, and they'll have their first shot running a multiple offenses. Another great sign. Go big or go home, says the class of 2016 for the Gators of Ware County. They had a phenomenal sign up for a Halloween trick-or-treat. Smell our cleats, which was the sign last week on Halloween. Here comes the Ware County Gators, expecting a crowd of between 2,000 and 3,000 in a place that holds 10,000. I was told it was filled. Back in 2007, they held a state championship game here against Northside, and the Ware County Gators falling, though, back in 2007. What a phenomenal football field and stadium. And here comes your Brunswick Pirates now, arm in arm, hoping to pull off the upset here. Brunswick will receive the football first, and that'll give us a chance to check out the starting lineups for the Brunswick Pirates with a record of 3-6, 2-5 in the region under head coach Larry Harold. Your quarterback, Sean Smith, to run the show for Randon Jernigan, who's transferred out of school. More on him later. Shaq Robinson, a very spark at running back. DJ Whitfield and Kenneth Dallas, your wide receivers, along with Quandre Mosley, Wiley Gordon, your tight end, and your offensive linemen of Jalen Carter and Warren McClendon Jr., John John Cano. Deontay Demery, this kid's got offers just about anywhere. We'll fill you in on that along with Jabori Williams. That is your starting offense, the multiple spread offense for Larry Harold and the Pirates. So that means the Ware County defense will come out first. Nate Everett, big 44, along with Jalen Strickland, 74. Your defensive lineman, Joshua Riggs, 2 in the 3-3-5. Your linebackers, Irvin Nard, Jaquez Bolds, and Dedrick Mills, a couple of running backs playing linebacker. Your DB start with Hakeem Dillard, DeAndre Taylor, Jordan Turner, Elijah Juan Smith, and Jamoya Howard. That is your DB lineup in the 3-3-5 defense for Franklin Stevens and the Ware County Gators. Our replays tonight are brought to you by your Savannah Low Country Honda dealers, Honda, the power of dreams for all your replays tonight. So Ware County, as I said, will kick off the football first, and it will be your kicker, Noah Shepard, number 92, handling all the kicking and kickoff duties for the Ware County Gators. An important start. The football first on the road for Brunswick. How important is that first drive to maybe kind of set the tone a little bit, Dusty?
You got to take advantage of that, and you're right. You got to set that tempo because when you get one up and score a touchdown off of that first drive, that right there is a confidence builder in itself for your whole team. Then you get the fans to rally behind you, too. A lot of excitement.
We're underway on the season finale of the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week. The kick is out of play, out of bounds on the right-hand side, and Brunswick will come out with the football in good field position to start things off. And as we said, Sean Smith, Randon Jernigan was the quarterback for this football team, just transferred a couple of weeks ago. He was starting quarterback, played through some injuries, but anyways, he has transferred. Still waiting to see if he'll be able to play at Glenn Academy. His family made a move, so it gives it into the hands of Sean Smith, who will run the show for the Brunswick Pirates, and we'll see the multiple spread offense, and there's a lot of weapons. The number one weapon, obviously, Shaq Robinson in the backfield. So our first play from scrimmage. The snap is up, and Smith will take it around the right-hand side with a big hole, too. Sean Smith scampers 14 yards. 14 yards on the play for Sean Smith, and a first down for Brunswick.
He certainly made it look easy, Ken. I tell you what, he's got some wheels under him. Should be fun to watch tonight.
So Smith takes it around the right-hand side, and again, that offensive line on the right-hand side, which consists of Jalen Carter and Warren McClendon. We see 55 with the move. That's McClendon Jr. with a nice block on the right-hand side and just gives him room, and he runs the football.
Good awareness of where the first down marker is, too.
Handoff straight up the middle. Nice room. Big break in action. Moving forward with the football. Ben McLeod, the running back, with another huge run and another huge first down. I think 15 yards on the play. So that's two huge offensive plays, something that immediately has to concern Coach Franklin Stevens and the Ware County defense.
Well, I'm looking at Brunswick right now and seeing how successful they are those first two plays running the ball. I'm wanting them to run it in the end zone.
Irvin Nard, the senior, finally pulling down McLeod in the backfield. So again, now already into Ware County territory. Sean Smith checking his wrist. Sean Smith with the shotgun, running the same play he ran the first time around, unable to get to the sidelines this time. Great play by Dedrick Mills to chase him out of bounds for a loss of 3 yards on the play.
I think Mills was ready for that one, Ken.
Dedrick Mills is the top target at running back. He'll take the football, but Mills, again, a great defensive player as well, and a bright future for Dedrick Mills at Ware County, Handoff, quick handoff, straight up the middle. They go to McLeod again. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage, so I think we'll give him maybe 3 on the play for Dedrick Mills. Long 2.
Looked like that might have been Everett in there making the tackle.
So it's down to 9. I think we'll give him just about 3 on the play, and it looks like Ben McLeod checks out of the game. I see a lot of movement. Kenneth Dallas splitting wide to the right. Dallas right next to Dallas. DJ Whitfield. Wiley Golden, the tight end, on the right side of the line. They're waiting for the call from Larry Harold and his crew. His offensive coordinator, Taiwanese Lockett. And there is a break in action. We're going to take it as well. We'll be back with more right here on the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week. Welcome back to the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week, brought to you by Ford. Go further. The Brunswick Pirates moving the football. Their first 2 carries, one by McLeod, one by Robinson going forward. One by quarterback Sean Smith. Almost 30 yards on the first 2 plays from scrimmage. Now they're set with a 3rd down, 3rd and a long 9 to continue the drive for the Pirates. Sean Smith back at the 40. Nice play fake. Sean Smith going to the left-hand side and not much at all. He hits his intended target for a gain of about 3 yards, but they'll still be well short of the first down. That was going to Corday Bradley, who you saw catch a touchdown against Richmond Hill in our pregame show. So they'll have a 4th and 6. They're in the territory to go for it. I think they're just outside field goal range, so that's exactly what they're going to do. 6 yards to go. They're at the right hash mark. Quarterback Smith standing on his 40-yard line right now, looking down the field. Little soft pass up and falls incomplete. So Ware County, despite giving up 2 big plays, they'll hold and take over the football.
Yeah, they kind of caught their breath there. Yeah, I think the first couple of plays stunned them a bit, Ken, but they settled down and they seem to be in a groove now.
So the Gators offense will come out. That gives us a chance to check out the starting offense for the Ware County Gators. 7-2 overall, 5-2 in Region 3 5A. They run the wing T flex offense. They're led by their quarterback, Jamar Lincoln. Lincoln wears number 10. Your running back core, Jaquez Bowles, who you saw had a huge game last week against South Effingham. Also Jordan Turner and Dedrick Mills. Mills is their top running back. Wide receiver of DeAndre Taylor. Irvin Nard, your tight end. He goes the defensive side as well. Hayden Blackburn is one of your offensive linemen as Mills throws out. Throws a long pass past the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, DeAndre Taylor. And just like that, Ware County from 47 yards. 67 yards, on the play.
What a big play. First play from line of scrimmage. Talk about snake bit, man. I think Brunswick was prepared for that.
That was a pitch out to Dedrick Mills, and Mills, the running back, throws the touchdown. After the kick, we'll check out the replay. So all your replays are brought to you by your Savannah Low Country Honda dealers. So the extra point for Ware County. Your kicker is Noah Shepard, and the kick is up, and the kick is good. So actually just missed it to the right. It looked like it was good. A long wait on the call by the officials there. Almost a delayed call, but it is no good, so that made it 6-0. So now let's check out your replay. Brought to you by your Savannah Low Country Honda dealers. Take us through it.
What are we looking at here?
Jamar Lincoln there just with a little pitch, and there's your toss.
Yeah, that's a play that sneaks almost every defense. You know, you really get them going and pull them in one direction, and the next thing you know, the darn back throws the ball. And then there's a wide open guy downfield because everybody's running up to get that running back.
So from the 37-yard line all the way across the field, and a bomb for a touchdown to make it 6-0 and make the fans happy here at Memorial Stadium down in Waycross. So it's a 6-0 game. Mills to DeAndre Taylor. So the kick by Ware County is off. And to the right, fielded at the 12-yard line. Here comes Brunswick, 16 on the return around the left-hand side with a nice hole and nice room for Calvin Goodette, the wide receiver. Just a freshman for Goodette, but he returns it to nice field goal range. So Brunswick with a chance. They had 2 great plays to start things out, and they'll get right back at it with their quarterback leading the way for Brunswick, Sean Smith. We had a chance to catch up with head coach Larry Harold, and he is very, very high on his young quarterback. Smith shows incredible versatility physically and mentally. Let's listen in on the coach.
number 5. We moved him from receiver to kick return, punt return. Now he's our quarterback. The last 2 games, he's rushed for over 450 yards and I think 7 touchdowns. He started last year as a sophomore, and he doesn't get phased in a big game. And so we're so young. As you saw with our starting line, we only had 1 senior starting on offense. He brings a calm and sense of leadership out there.
All right, so here comes Smith. Coach said he's got a lot of versatility, a kickoff man. You can see his speed, and especially on the first play from scrimmage on the previous drive, rolled around to the right-hand side, so he can definitely do a whole lot of different things, and they expect a lot out of Sean Smith.
But the Gators they're bringing the whole swamp now. We look to see some creativity from Brunswick here.
Definitely a true test for the offensive lineman. Well, he's a left-handed quarterback, so the blind side over there on the right-hand side, and those guys will be tested. He ran to the left-hand side this time, but another fake and another run around the left-hand side with a nice room and a nice hole, crosses the 30-yard line, and enough for a first down for the Brunswick Pirates. So again, they're moving the football. That'll be their 3rd first down of the game in the first quarter here. We're down to 8:53 in the swamp down in Ware County, Waycross. We're so glad you're joining us on WSAV.com or on WSAV's MyLC.
Personnel exchange, we're going back to trip split.
We knew they'd mix it up, and that's definitely the case. So it's Smith's handoff straight up the gut. I think that's going to McLeod up the middle, but nobody's going to fool the Ware County defense that time. Quickly led by Jamoya Howard, I believe, was in there on the tackle.
He was the #1 hitter. And then there was a swamp full of Gators.
Joshua, look at big Joshua Riggs there, you see, along with Ronnie Adams standing to the right of him there on that right side, on that weak side of that offensive line. Should say the blind side for the quarterback on that line for the defense for the Ware County Gators. Put a man in motion, does Brunswick, and quick snap, quick pass to the left-hand side, and gets it to his target, Kenneth Dallas, but he's brought down immediately.
The Gators got there quick. And, let's see, who was that again? That was that Taylor making the tackle? Pushing him out of bounds?
And Jaquez Bolds, #9, also in on the play. So now they're forced with another long 3rd down play. Here's your replay, and puts a man in motion, and just heavy pressure though. 2-3 coming in, and 2 men on the tackle.
2 guys. And that was
9 and 15, Ronnie Adams also in on the play. So Brunswick faced with another quick 3rd down, and going way back is quarterback, throws it long with a nice little flip to the left-hand side, in and out of the hands of Quadre Mosley. But I tell you, he's really showing what kind of arm he has. It was just kind of a little flick of the wrist for Sean Smith, and he threw it about 30 yards.
Yeah, he got that ball out there, and on the run. That's another thing, too. He shows his ability. He can run out there and sling that ball like that.
So Smith has rushed so far for 27 yards. 4 carries, including 1 for a 2-yard loss. That'll go as a sack, though, as he dropped back. So they'll have to punt the football. The Brunswick Pirates, Seth Nussbauer, 47-yard punt is what they're usually looking at for him. Oh, and this one's off the right side of his foot, a little knuckleball, and just settles in the middle of the field. And Ware County will take over on their own side, just over the 50-yard line, I should say, into Brunswick territory. Let's see where the mark is. Now, it did bounce around a little bit, so it's at the 44-yard line. Fresh paint there out on the Gators sign. We got here. I got here a little early prior to game time, and they were out there putting all the fresh paint down. They painted all the lines for us here for the Thursday Blitz game of the week. We have a big Friday night Blitz coming up. Some teams with playoffs already for cross regions, some not. South Effingham and Glen Academy, huge game for those 2 teams. Long County, BC, the Cadets looking to finish off a perfect 10-0 season. Appleton County, Southeast Bullitt, Cook, Jenkins. Only 2 of those teams will be going to the playoffs. The 2 winners of those games. That's crossover region playoffs and 1 AAA. Calvary also in there as we get to the play now is Ware County with their 2nd chance on offense. The first time was a trick play and a touchdown. So here's a handoff to the right-hand side. Mills finds a little bit of room and finally tackled down and brought down by the ankles. Quan Chapman, the DB, the junior DB, making the tackle on Dedrick Mills. So 7 yards on the play. It'll bring up a 2nd and 3.
You talk about that fresh paint out there. One of the funnest things as a high school football player is to get out there and roll around in that paint and wear some home. It's like taking your war scars home. Bragging rights.
For those 9, 10, 11-year-olds rolling around the mud, same thing like that?
Yeah, man.
All right, right at the 49-yard line into Brunswick territory. Quick pass out to the left-hand side, and he had room, too. I think he anticipated a catch and run, and unfortunately, I believe, is that DeAndre Taylor on the left? He already caught a 67-yard touchdown, but he won't catch a short one there. Glad to have our good friend Joseph Akins up in the booth, providing all our statistics for tonight's game. So it's Jamar Lincoln from the 49-yard line. Lincoln barking out the call in the wing T offense. Puts a man in motion, hands it off to the man to the left-hand side. Big hole for Gary Williams. And Gary Williams is gone. Forget it. Touchdown. Ware County, they're in the books with their 2nd of the game. What a great atmosphere, the sights and especially the sounds here at Memorial Stadium, and they have a whole lot to be cheerful for at the 7-minute mark of the first quarter. Run a little weird play to the right-hand side, and he's into the end zone. Jamar Lincoln keeps it himself in for the 2-point conversion. That makes it 14. Take us through the replay here, Dusty.
I think the key to this, when he got to the 2nd level of the linebackers, he weaved his way and broke right through. Got through the defensive backfield, he was home free.
Wow, just like that, a pretty quick spark for these two teams right here. That was Gary Williams with the junior with a huge burst to go into the end zone. So we've seen Mills throw a touchdown. We haven't seen Jacques Bolds much yet, but there hasn't been a whole lot of plays from scrimmage for Ware County, but they have a 14-0 lead already in the first quarter, something head coach Franklin Stevens knew was very important. There's one of coach's assistants on this crew for Ware County. Of course, he's in his 2nd year now as head football coach for the Gators. They'll kick off from the 40-yard line. Brunswick will have the football for the 3rd time here on the Thursday Night Blitz. The kick is up. It's a high one to the right-hand side and fielded at the 17-yard line around the right-hand side. Again, it's Elijah Smith, and Smith with a little bit of a return for Brunswick, and they'll come back out again with the football. And you've already given the football back quickly. It's a very key possession. You could probably say this early to try and get a couple more first downs. They came off with a bang in the first drive, but after that, it slowed down.
Yeah, I think it's one of the tough decision points for a coach. You know, you want to put points on the board very quick, but you want to stop the clock sometimes too, and it just troubles you when you want to pick your plays.
Dusty, you saw the technology there on the sidelines. I'm sure when you played at Effingham County High School that they had all those slick monitors back in your days, along with Notre Dame and the New York Giants going to the Super Bowl.
I tell you, at high school level, I recall chalkboards and chalk sticks.
Chalkboards, and you got that right.
Yeah, by the time you get to the pros, they do have quite a bit more technology. It gets sophisticated. They're serious about it.
So the Pirates now with Sean Smith running the show.
So they've got a tight end back in now.
Moving the marker a little bit. I'm not sure why the clock's not running. They're all moving the chains. There's a penalty on the play. Actually, didn't see the flag thrown on it.
I didn't see the flag either, Ken.
They must have picked it up quickly, but that is the call. So that's a 15-yard penalty, too.
Normally, it's easy to spot trash on the field. I didn't see it that time.
It was a big one for Brunswick, so now they have the football at the 47-yard line. We'll call almost to the 48, and that's what they'll take over on this fresh set of downs. Put a man in motion. Fake handoff right up the middle, and just met by a handful, or at least 2 or 3. Look at Dedrick Mills just coming up with the big stuff on defense for the Ware County Gators.
Well, you know the Gators, they've got a key point now. Sean Smith is an athlete. He's going to run that ball. His hands are going to be on that ball 4 out of 5 plays, and they're keying right in on him now.
Quick blast right there. That was actually Bolds with the initial hit. And after Bolds came his backfield mate coming up to clean it up. I'm not sure if they snapped the football. I think they were supposed to. It's still sitting there. It hasn't moved yet. Just a whole lot of movement before the football was snapped, and that'll take him back 5 yards. As a former high school, college, and professional center there, that wasn't very pretty, Dusty.
I'll tell you this. You know, you're talking about the flags on the field. As an offensive lineman, you don't get much glory, and the only thing you can brag about is not getting penalties. So when that flag is thrown, you get a little bit of anxiety.
You can get blamed, but you can't be the hero.
That's right.
All right, so Brunswick now 2nd down and 15 to go. Quick handoff straight up the middle, trying to dance around to the left and right. Big burst of speed and takes it all the way up. Does Gary Williams all the way up to the 45-yard line and bring him within a manageable 3rd down, a 3rd and 4 we'll call it. Nice run right there. Here's your replay brought to you by your Savannah Low Country Honda dealers, and just kind of dances around and finds the hole.
Just the key to that play was keeping his feet moving. He got 4 extra yards out of that.
What did you just talk about, those hankies on the field from the offensive line? I think we may have seen another one here. They're pointing to the defense. That was an encroachment. I think they're going to win the battle right there. Encroachment call gives Brunswick a 1st down at the 40. $18 yards rushing now on 3 carries for Gary Williams. Excuse me, check that. For Ben McLeod, 22 on the other side. So now they'll have it at the 40.
You said Gary Williams, you caught me off guard.
Snap is back to the 45-yard lines again, just trying to plow forward, and it's McLeod trying to get some decent yardage right there, and he's stuffed up, though, after a gain of, we'll give him 2, maybe 3 at the most on the play. Yeah, we'll give him 3 on the play. But again, Ben McLeod with a nice run.
Looked like Bolds bringing the initial hit in there again.
Bolds broke through for more than 200 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns in a big win over South Effingham. Just last week, he was our Subway WSAV Blitz Performance of the Week, and he had a huge one. So snap straight up the middle and trying to plow his way forward is big 87, Corday Bradley, trying to get him involved in the offense. And boy, it's close. I think he's going to come up just short. Yeah, by just about a yard short of the 1st down.
It's a good strong run. I don't. If you were paying attention, you would see where personnel exchange and an extra offensive lineman was brought in. He's at an eligible position. So actually, he's not now with the way the receivers are. But that allows to do some of those things, especially with a tight end who can play a fullback, running back type position.
3rd down. Sean Smith flings it out to the right-hand side. DJ Winfield picks up the 1st down. Nice play right there by Brunswick, and they continue to move the chains.
That's good offensive play right there.
Very nice play, wide open, and tried to be brought down by Ronnie Adams. He was there on the right-hand side trying to reach, but he got beat. And Brunswick now moving the clock down to 3:23 on the 1st quarter of play on the Thursday Night Blitz game of the week. Brunswick moving the football. Quick handoff, Corday again. Corday Bradley, the junior, plows forward for a gain of a couple.
I like Bradley back there in the backfield, kid. I think he's going to make a difference.
Dusty, quite unique matchup on the left-hand side. 3 receivers lining up all behind each other, and whatever they showed really didn't work, though. But the benefit of a lineup like that, you don't see that very often.
Well, you don't see it very often. It's one of those sleight of the hand tricks, I guess. You don't know where they're going to go, and when the ball is snapped and they spread out, something crazy could happen. It's fun to watch.
I think it was a loss of one. They come up with not much on the play. Let's put it that way. We'll see where they mark it. I think it's going to be marked. Joseph, loss of one on the play. I'm checking with you. My stat man here tonight. Quick roll around to the right. Nice little flip to the right-hand side, but out of the outstretched hands of Wiley Gordon, the junior tight end. He can't haul it in, and they'll be forced with a 4th down again in a position they'll probably go for it on 4th down at the 29.
I hope they go for it.
Check that 27-yard line, 4th down. We'll see.
Yep, they're exchanging personnel. Looks like they're going to do a little kick show.
Mitch Finneran is the kicker. Number 17 is in there, so we're looking at a 43-yard field goal for Finneran. We'll see if he kicks it. Calvin Goodette is the holder. The snap is up, the kick is up, and not quite.
It's good. It's good,
wow.
Ken. It's good.
40.
Flag on the field.
A flag on the play.
I think they might have roughed the kicker on that one. But
wow, he just made it across the crossbar.
I was watching the ball.
Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Oh, wow.
On the offense.
Well, how about that?
Tough one on a 43-yard field goal. Illegal formation will negate and take 3 points off the board. And now you're in a situation with, by my analysis, you go 5 yards back. I don't think you don't make that field goal.
Yep. You don't make that field goal.
They're bringing him out there again, though. He's going to need to get more foot on it, though, because he was definitely more than 5 yards short. So he's looking at a 47-yard field goal again.
Stand by on this one, Ken. We just need about 14 yards for a 1st down.
So Finneran is back. Looking to kick from 47. The kick is up. Again, it's straight.
It looked good, Ken.
Got it from 47 yards
Oh, my
out.
goodness.
Mitch Finneran kicks a 47-yarder, and it's 14-3. Wow.
That was a stronger kick, too. You could tell from up here in the press box.
Now Hankey's on the field, and Brunswick's on the board with 2:34 left to go.
Wow.
In the 4th quarter. You don't see that a whole lot
you sure
on the
don't.
high school level, 47 yards.
Ken, what you don't see is confidence from the coach to send his player in there and do that. You don't see that very much on the high school level.
So it's Mitch Finneran. And it's a 14-3 game. Ware with 5 plays on the night, 126 yards, a couple of touchdowns, one a long touchdown pass. Brunswick's quarterback, Sean Smith, he's ran the ball 7 times, 30 yards. He's also handled most of the handoffs. Ben McLeod, who has 33 yards, and they're going to check that. I thought it was a 47-yarder. They gave him a 48-yarder. We'll give him the extra half. So Brunswick now to kick the football off, and Ware County will get it back on the Thursday Night Blitz game of the week. Reminder, you can check out the replay of tonight's game on WSAV Channel 3. That will be Sunday morning at 10:30. A couple of Ware County Gators run into each other, but look at the spark of speed.
Oh, my
Spark
goodness.
of speed on the left-hand side. All the way down to the 40. We'll check out, that was Kay Harriet.
What a surprise. I tell you, there's confusion out there, and there's guys that know which one was going to catch the ball, and look at that. You know, you get about 40 yards out of that run.
The junior Quahara just broke free on the left-hand side and turned it into a great return. As we check out the replay, a little uncertainty on the receiving end. Looked like Hara just kind of knocked down Hakeem Dillard, and Dillard said, if you can do that, I'll let you have it every single time.
Well, you know, when you watch film with the players, the coach will always say, you know, let's run that play again. Just how I designed it.
So there's your offensive coordinator. That's Tiwanius Luckett. Of course, your head coach for Brunswick High School, Larry Harrell. Quick pass out to the left-hand side and into the hands of Calvin Goodette. Excuse me, check that into the hands of Elijah Juan Smith to the left-hand side.
Big flag on the field now.
Let's check out that replay and see where that late hit was exactly and who it was on. Ware County band quiet at this point in time, and let's listen in on the call. Definitely a personal foul. Let's check out your replay, brought to you by your Savannah Low Country Honda dealers. quick pass, Jamar Lincoln off to the left-hand side and just out of bounds. And yeah, he just kind of drove him out of bounds. And that was on Santana Clark, I believe, number 9, the DB. I think it looked a little worse than it was. He was just kind of following through on a tackle, but he was already out of bounds when he made it. So a little handoff around the right-hand side. Actually, he keeps it himself, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, nice play. That's Jordan Turner, the sophomore, scores for the Gators. So Turner runs in, the sophomore, with the 3rd touchdown of the game for Ware County.
That's 3 touchdowns by 3 different people, I believe, isn't it?
A double handoff to Jordan Turner. Check out how long the play was. 27 yards. It was a quick inside handoff to Gary Williams, and Williams handed it off to Jordan Turner. After this, let's check it. After this, let's check out that play once again. That was a nifty play. We'll slow-mo it on the double handoff. So the extra point is up, and it's good. It's 21-3. And here's your replay again. Quick handoff right there, and a double handoff. Nicely done. Gary Williams inside, and Jordan Turner finishes it off for a 27-yard touchdown. Dusty, did you play much against a wing T or even play for a wing T offense like this? I know it's a lot of motion left and right.
It is, and I did on the high school level, of course. And, of course, I didn't play defense very much in high school. But, you know, we played them, and I know for our defensive guys, it is a lot of emotion. You don't know who's going to have the ball, you know, and it's those moments of hesitation as a defensive player. That's when the offense can take advantage of you and block you and get you out of the way.
You know, we've seen a lot of the wing T, but, you know, Georgia Southern runs the triple option. Explain to people maybe the difference in those, because I know the wing T gives you a lot of options.
It does, but when you go the triple option, you see teams that run that, you see them run more outside.
Georgia Tech,
you know, exactly. And with the wing T, you'll see big plays pop up the middle a lot more, I believe.
21-3 Ware County on top of Brunswick. Nothing short of highlights here on the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz, brought to you by Ford. Go further. So the kickoff from the 40-yard line, and Brunswick will have another shot to try and put some more points on the board. And a 7:30 start on our season finale of the Thursday Night Blitz game of the week. Again, it's a good opportunity for Calvin Goodhead around the right-hand side, showing speed. Same type of return, knocked out of bounds by Noah Shepard. It took the kicker to knock him out of bounds on the right-hand side, but he does so. And Brunswick will take over. Pretty good field position, too. Just inside the 40, I think, is where they're going to mark at 39-yard line. It's just all speed there, trying to outrun the coverage to the right-hand side. And looked like Hakeem Dillard knew what was coming, number 3, the entire way, but it took him the entire width of the field to track him down. There's your head coach out front. Franklin Stevens talking with his crew, barking out signals. We're back to the offense of Sean Smith. Smith with a man in motion, and Smith fakes it, keeps it himself to the right-hand side. Sean Smith with a burst of speed, and 10 yards and a first down for Sean Smith.
You see the replay here. He fakes the handoff, runs right off the tackle, slips up through, and again, a good awareness where the first down marker is. He's doing great with that tonight.
John Cano, 59, with a nice block to try and give his quarterback some room. And his offensive line will definitely be tested the entire night. This time he does give it off. Handoff straight up the middle. Not much there, though. Stuffed up very quickly, I believe. Again, that was Ben McLeod on the run. No huddle for the Brunswick Pirates, just bringing in and out personnel to try and change things up a bit. You see more and more no huddle as years go on, it seems, Dusty.
Well, you know, when you start exchanging personnel, the coach wants to kind of dictate things from the sideline a little bit more, and it's easy for the guys to look over and see that.
Handoff straight up the middle. McLeod with a burst of speed. McLeod trying to plow forward and leans forward. Crosses, and he's still going. They haven't blown the whistle yet. McLeod with a first down, I believe.
Hey, all right. I tell you what, I like that 87. That Bradley comes in at tight end and plays in the backfield a little bit there. He's got some tenacity, Coach.
So Corday Bradley leading the way. Check out the replay, and just simple right there, and he just continues to move the foot, and there's Corday Bradley just pushing him forward, and yeah, his knee never went down. He just continued to pull forward, and there's Corday pushing him forward. Wow, that's a gritty 9 yards anyways. He's a yard short of a first down, but they're in a good manageable second down position. Fakes it, goes around to the right-hand side, tries to get the outside, and just does. So there's a first down run of 2 yards by Sean Smith.
You know, the good thing about the guys like Bradley, they're coming back. When you get those guys that play like that and have that tenacity and that want to, and they're coming back.
After this play, it'll give us a chance to thank one of our sponsors, Savannah Power Sports, but we'll get to that right after this play as Brunswick now moving the chains and moving the football inside Ware County territory. Ball marked at the 40-yard line. Quick handoff to McLeod along the right-hand side. McLeod gains about 3 yards before he stops, so that'll bring up a 2nd and 7. Visit one of the Savannah or Statesboro Power Sports Center showrooms to see their complete line of Victory, Polaris, Suzuki, and Can-Am products. Savannah Power Sports Center, 59180 Ogeechee Road, right across the street from Keller's Flea Market in Savannah, or Statesboro Power Sports Center. That's on US Highway 80 in Statesboro. So that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter of play, and what an exciting one it has been. 21-3, Ware County with the lead in Waycross over the Brunswick Pirates. We'll bring you the second quarter of action right after this on the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week. It's a 21-3 score on the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week, brought to you by Ford. Go further. Your impressions of the first half, a lot of big plays, and you know, Brunswick's, despite being on the short end of a 21-3 game, they've had some big plays and some nice drives of their own. They really have.
They come out of the chute with a couple of big plays there in the beginning, and then they found themselves again with the running game. And I tell you what, their offensive line and their tight end in there is making a difference for them. It's been very enjoyable so far.
So it's an inside handoff and not a lot of room that time. That was snuffed right away. I think that one, they made a change. That's Shaq Robinson, I believe, with his first carry on the game. We've seen most of Ben McLeod, but they switch it up with the other sophomore. Shaq Robinson this time runs the football straight up the middle. You know, Brunswick will quickly come back to the line of scrimmage, split 3 wide to the left, and again they'll go in that 1-2-3 all behind each other. Line up, and we have movement on the line, and this will give us a chance to listen in on head football coach Larry Harold. He's trying to build a program here. He's a first-year coach, well aware of what he is building for and the tremendous opportunity for tonight.
The kids know that what we're telling them and their hard work is finally beginning to pay off, and now it's time to step up and see how we measure up against the big boys. And so I don't have to sell them on it. They've been buying in. And they're excited for the challenge and to be able to knock off a powerhouse like Ware County going into our off season. It would really fuel those long months of weightlifting that to come, as a reminder of what we were able to accomplish the last 3 games of the season.
Obviously a lot of work to do to knock off a powerhouse, but this is a football team that's found itself after losing 6 straight. They were able to win 2 in a row coming into this big game, and like I said, not a lot of pressure. They're trying to feel themselves out for next year, and I mean, losing their starting quarterback who left and transferred out of the school, so it's a little different makeup for the last few games for Brunswick, but they're looking pretty good, especially with Sean Smith there in at quarterback, except that time stuffed up quickly, and I believe that was big old Jaquez Bolds coming in and making the tackle. Game started off with a huge play by Ware County. Dedrick Mills to DeAndre Taylor, a big touchdown pass. I think that went 67 yards. Made it 6-0, and then 49 yards. Gary Williams busted one up the gut. Big 22, the junior, for a touchdown. And Mitch Finneran with a 48-yard field goal for Brunswick. That after making one from right around 43 yards and went back on a penalty. And then Jordan Turner on a 27-yard run. So they put up a lot of rushing yards already. Probably hit the 100-yard mark already for Ware County. We'll have the full numbers of our team rushing in just a bit. We'll get a timeout. It gives us a chance to check out that guy who actually made that tackle. He had a huge game offensively last time with more than 200 yards, but boy, the coach is very proud of Jaquez Bolds, the way he has bounced back after a very tough junior season.
He's kind of one of those phenom kids come out of middle school. He had a great sophomore year, and then all of a sudden the coaching change happens, and he just didn't do well, had a little bit of a disappointing year last year. Well, he had a great offseason working out in the classroom. He matured a lot mentally and physically.
So the 21-3, we're at the 10:31 mark of the second quarter, and Jaquez Bolds, what a huge spark he made last week. Ware County, the Gators, as I said, with a chance to clinch a playoff spot. They still have a shot to get in, but they need a little bit of help should they drop this one. But, you know, they have probably one of the bigger wins is against Coffee. They went on the road and beat Coffee, and that's Coffee's only loss this season. They also beat Richmond Hill and Bradwell in the region, along with Statesboro and South Effingham. And here goes around the left-hand side again. It's Sean Smith running the football. I believe he's got enough for the first down. They'll blow the whistle, and I think we'll move the chains where there's, yeah, they're going to move the chains. Their losses were in a row. They lost to Glenn Academy at home and then on to Effingham County by a field goal on the road. A 7-point loss and a 3-point loss. So they definitely have been in every game and felt that they should have won every game. But sometimes those losses earlier in the season can serve as wake-up calls for a team that, you know, went deep in the playoffs last year and expects to win a state title.
Yes, some teams it takes a few games to find themselves, but once they get that gel, you know, they understand that every game thereafter is very important. It's in that short yardage play, last play.
Sean Smith with a little flip and nowhere to go. Elijah Juan Smith read it all the way. The ball was fumbled. We'll see if he was marked down. Yes. Oh, he was marked down. I thought so.
Yeah, that
it was close. I thought they had to fumble. Check out the replay by your Savannah Low Country Honda dealers, and that's just Kenneth Dallas, and he has no chance whatsoever. Yeah, he was down on the ground when the ball came loose. Great defensive play. Elijah Juan Smith making the play. Brunswick, as I said, they beat McIntosh County Academy to open up the season, lost 6 straight. And then they came back with huge wins, one over Richmond Hill, one over Bradwell Institute, and started to get a little bit of confidence as they head into this finale. A flag on the play against Brunswick. Looks like an illegal substitution. My wonderful producer Dan Flaxer telling me, however, if you don't huddle up, how do you get the illegal substitution?
That's good.
It needs to be a huddle situation.
That's a good question.
So if that was the call, I'm not sure how it happened without a huddle situation. But here comes the Brunswick Pirates. They'll be back 5 yards again. A second, actually 10 yards back, so it's a 2nd and 20. Play fake around the left-hand side, being chased heavily. Finally chased out of bounds, and Ronnie Adams chases him out of bounds, but prior to that, he was being chased all over the place by Joshua Riggs, the big senior, flushing him out of the pocket to the left. So, wow, they have all the way to the Okefenokee Swamp for a first down, it looks like.
It's 3rd and California. You see guys in there like Joshua Riggs and Jalen Strickland that demand 2 and 3 blockers. I was going to go back to that short yardage play earlier. It was 4th and about 3. They really had to put about three players on them to move the ball there.
Long 3rd down. They'll fake it and he'll look long. Sean Smith throwing right across the middle. Nice play. Hits his intended target, DJ Whitfield, but well short of the play. But Dusty, you talked about, I think you mentioned to me a couple times, the visual test, or when you see a guy, you kind of have that knowledge right there that he has potential.
Yeah, when you see a big athlete like these guys out here, you know, you take Jalen Strickland, for example. He's a big guy. Pass the eye test. They look like a football player. They look like an athlete. They look like they're agile. And a lot of collegiate coaches, hey, does that guy pass the eye test? Because if he does, we're going to give him a second look. And it's great to see the guys that pass the eye test. We've got a few on the field out here tonight, Ken.
46-yard field goal. So this is a chip shot, right? 46-yard field. That one's blocked. Big defense picked up by Ware County along the right-hand side, and that's Calvin Goodette making the tackle. And he was the only man to beat in the backfield, and he may have kicked a 48-yarder, but not going to make it from 46. Big Gator D right there on special teams. I think for Ware County, keys to the game, number 3.
Win the kicking game.
So it's Ware County back with the football again, and head coach Franklin Stevens. And I'll tell you what, this guy's been a winner wherever he's gone. He started his career in 2007 at Tucker, went 14-1 his first year. 13-1, 14-1 his second year, 9-3 his third, and 13-1. And then in 2011, he won a state championship with Tucker, going 15-0 around the left-hand side. And Ware County, Alex Sales with a big run. Sales gets his helmet ripped off, but not after he gains about 45 yards. We'll have to check it. We'll ask Joseph, our stat man, but Alex Sales was a huge play along the left-hand side. That'll move the chains for Ware County. 31 yards on the play, and as I said, he won a state championship in 2011. Then he went over to Lamar County, went 12-1, 14-1, 11-1 with Ware County last year, 7-2 this year. 9 years of football. He's 108, 11-1. He's definitely one of the top coaches in the state of Georgia. Quick handoff, straight up the middle, burst of speed, into the end zone. Jaquez Birds tacks one in from 23 yards out.
Holding.
Flag on the play, and they'll take out the Thunder for this huge crowd of a couple thousand at Memorial Stadium down in Waycross. And Bolds' touchdown is negated on a huge hole up the middle, but a holding doesn't matter. Official
replay, first down.
Was right on top of it.
Didn't see it on the replay.
Yeah, it's hard to see right there, but the official was standing right in the middle of the field. You saw him pull his hat off and throw his hat down. So Ware County with a chance now from the 31-yard line. They'll bring it back on the holding call. First down, excuse me. They'll check that 1st and 20.
Ken, the lineman's rule is if you don't see it on film, it didn't happen. Just remember that.
And let me remind you folks, that's coming from a lineman himself. So. All right, quick fake handoff, goes to the right-hand side, has a blocker and a nice move. They get past the original line of scrimmage. I'm checking, was that pass out to DeAndre Taylor? So Lincoln hits Taylor for 12 yards on the play. So we'll check his passing yards. So again, a nice play. DeAndre Taylor is a 67-yard catch. He has 12 more there. That's 79, hitting the 80 mark. I don't believe he has any other catches in the game. A couple of catches and 80 yards, not a bad start for DeAndre Taylor here in the first half of play. Handoff along the left-hand side. Nice jaunt up the middle, found a hole, and rushes forward for around 6. He'll be short of the first down, though. Check out who that was. I think that was Gary Williams again, but let's check out the replay. Watch the fake as it looked like he was going to take it outside, Dusty, and just at the last second on a dime, cut it inside right there.
They did.
Whoops, he froze the defender. Let's run that again a little bit earlier on the replay. Right there, just freezes. I think that was Santana Clark, the DB, on the left-hand side and ran by him. What a great move right there. So, again, it's Jamar Lincoln in at quarterback, under center. Lincoln, the Mills are on the right-hand side. Mills with a couple of blocks and plows forward for a few yards. So, Dedrick Mills with a nice gain, and that'll give him a first down, gain of 4 on the play. Flag on the play, though. I think we're going to see a face mask call. Let's listen in on the official. Personal foul on the play. Thought I saw a face mask mark. Let's watch the replay, see if we can pick it up. So it'll give them a first down just outside the 5 as we slow it down right here. We'll see if we can pick it up. Might have been right after the play. He's down right there. I don't know if there was a little extra push maybe at the end. Back to live action. And Ware County at the 6:11 mark, knocking on the door again. Looking back to his coaches, checking the play, gives it to, fakes it actually. Nice play up the middle. He did keep it. All right. Rajah
Touchdown.
Bradley. That 32, Rajah Bradley in for a touchdown. I thought he may have kept it. What a great play fake by Jamar Lincoln. So Bradley's in. 6-yard touchdown run. Jamar Bradley getting in on the play. Rajah Bradley has his first touchdown of the game, and I believe we have 4 different players scoring touchdowns, 5 different players in on the touchdowns. One was thrown from Dedrick Mills to DeAndre Taylor. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So it's 28-3. Here's your replay. Watch a great play fake. We'll start that a little bit earlier again. Let's look at it one more time. Sorry, just there we go. Watch that inside. It looked like he kept it, but no, just found a big hole. Great job, that offensive line, and we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more. It's 28-3 at the 6-minute mark. The Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week, brought to you by Ford. Go further. Dusty Ziegler, another running touchdown for Ware County, another different player. They've certainly mixed up the plays and mixed up the runners here tonight.
They're showing their versatility with players. They certainly are.
We started off with Dedrick Mills to DeAndre Taylor on a trick play to start off the game, and then Gary Williams on a 49-yard touchdown run, Jordan Turner on a 27-yard touchdown, and Rajah Bradley just capped off that drive for a 6-yard touchdown run. So team rushing, we'll get that from our wonderful statistician Joseph Akins, but team rushing, I gotta believe they're closing in on a 160, 170-yard marker. 153 for Ware County as a team, and they really haven't had to put the ball in the air. So the kick is up by Noah Shepard, and here comes Brunswick from the 10-yard line. Around the left-hand side, not much room that time for Calvin Goodette. He stopped, and they'll take over the football, 27, 28-yard line maybe. 6 different ball carriers for the Ware County Gators, 153 yards rushing, 94 yards passing, which included a 67-yard touchdown pass on the first play from scrimmage. That made it 6-0. So Brunswick's offensive line, they're going to need to continue to try and get some room. The 5 front linemen of Jalen Carter, Warren McClendon Jr., John Cano, Deontay Demery, and Jabori Williams.
These guys are going to have to double their efforts. Got to make up for lost time.
I'll tell you, that'll give us a chance to talk about big number 77, Deontay Demery. You know, we had a chance to chat with their head coach about this player, and he's big, number 77, 6'6", 310 pounds. He has offers on the table from Georgia and Florida and Auburn, Illinois, USC, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama. I think I mentioned that one, and Florida I did. So he is a strong player. He has a lot of options, does Deontay Demery, for the future as the ball is dropped and no good. Let's listen in on head coach Larry Harold on Deontay Demery, as we said. So we will get to that in just a moment. I was held up in midstream. I was about to kick the field goal.
Hey.
I was held off on that one.
I'll add to that. I saw Demery here about 5 weeks ago when they played the Mustangs in Effingham, South Effingham, and got a chance to be about 10 feet away from him as he walked into the stadium. And I tell you what, the guy's a monster. He passes the eye test. He really does.
Quick drop, straight drop back, and a pass along the left-hand side. Good defense right there.
The flag on the field,
Ken. Oh, wow. It looked like Jordan Turner made a nice play defensively to knock the football down. I wonder if it was his left hand. He made a great play with the right, but he might have hooked a little with the left. Let's check out the replay on that, on the flag. That's what they're going to call pass interference. We'll see if it was the offhand that maybe hooked him on the replay.
Those DBs have an innate ability to do that with that hidden hand. It finds its way around the hook.
On the defense, 15-yard penalty, results in a first down.
Here's your replay brought to you by your Savannah Low Country Honda dealers, and it's Sean Smith just throwing a soft passer on the left-hand side, and boy, I don't know. That was close. It was like good defense to me. Anyway, here comes Brunswick. Back to live action. Sean Smith in the backfield puts a man in motion. That's DJ Whitfield. Gives it to Whitfield. Whitfield cuts up to his right for a nice game of about 6 yards from Whitfield. And
that's another deception play there, too. You get a guy in a jet motion type run there, and defensive guys, they don't know to look at the quarterback or look at the guy in motion, and you get that moment of hesitation again. It certainly worked on that play. I think they picked up about 5 yards out of that.
So they're moving the football, and they've had their opportunities to move the football too, but they've halted all for a long 48-yard field goal. But standing on his own 45-yard line, Sean Smith, wonderful job at quarterback, fakes it this time. Sean Smith looking long to the right-hand side. Sean Smith hits the up man. Nice pass to his tight end right there, and hits Wiley Golden. The junior makes the catch and move the chains. A first down for Brunswick.
Offensive line, give him a little time to throw on that one, Ken. See guys taking their pass sets, working back, leaving a pocket. Allows the throw.
You know, we've seen a couple of tight ends that they work with, and they have a couple of big tight ends at Brunswick too.
They do. I keep going back to Corday Bradley. I like watching him.
Yeah, big 87 with a nice block and a nice run before. Put a man in motion, and that was a slip on the offensive line. It was on the left side. It was either on Deontay Demery or Jabari Williams. They were both there for the move. And that'll knock them back 5 yards, bring up a second down. Let's listen in on head coach Larry Harold on his big fella, Deontay Demery.
SEC coaches, you know, high-profile coaches call me and tell me that, you know, barring any injuries, any setback, that this kid definitely will get a chance to play in the NFL one day. And just to hear that as a coach just early. And the greatest thing is he hasn't even begun to tap into his full potential.
All right, well, we can't hear head coach there. We do know that, you know, he talked about Deontay Demery being a big player, an opportunity to play, and he talked about not only on the college level, but this is a kid that could be playing beyond 4 years from now in the NFL.
He certainly has the stature. He's got the body type. He's got all the tools right there. You know, I wish him well and best of luck to him, and I hope that he takes it to that level. He like I said, the eye test, he passes all the way, 100%.
So it's a second long, straight drop back, and Sean Smith. Sean Smith, the lefty, with a soft pass, almost too soft, but he was able to hit his intended target. He hits Kenneth Dallas for a nice gain, and I'll move the chains, I believe. They're close to it. Wow, he just kind of put the soft touch on that, and it looked like the DB might have mistimed it on the jump.
Perfect play.
Right there, and yeah.
That was a good
Jordan
job.
Turner reached up, he just couldn't get it, and it's one of those plays, what do you say, run it again?
That's right, run it again.
So it's 28-3, but Brunswick is moving the football here. 3:08 left in the second quarter play on the Thursday Blitz. Smith rolls around to his left-hand side, and no fooling Ronnie Adams that time. He whips him down to the left-hand side of the field. The clock's still running under 3 minutes now, but great play by Ronnie Adams, the junior.
Adams come out of nowhere on that one. He looked like he skated right on through real quick.
Adams has made a couple of big plays on that defensive side for the Ware County Gators, and he's not even in, not one of their regular starters, but he's seeing a lot of action tonight.
He keeps playing like that, Ken. He's going to see
action. Earn his way in.
That's right. He's going to see a lot more action.
Two split wide to the left. Here is Sean Smith, straight drop back. Another soft touch up in the air and almost brought down by DJ Whitfield, but boy, I'll tell you what, he has such a soft touch on that football and a nice smooth spiral. If he can really work a long time, remember he wasn't your starting quarterback most of this season and obviously not last year, but he's come a long way. But you give him a summer for passing camps that they go to and to be able to work with these targets that are not yet seniors, boy, they could have something next year offensively.
Absolutely, he's a player to hang your hat on. He showed a lot of talent tonight.
Smith with Whitfield again in motion, fakes to Whitfield. He'll just plant along the left-hand side. Nice pass again, hits his tight end but loses the football. Ball's on the ground, picked up, and he can't quite keep his feet. That was 23, Jamoya Howard, I believe, picking it up, and I'm not sure if that was an incomplete pass. I don't know if he made a football move.
I didn't think Bradley looked. I think it was Bradley. Didn't look like he had possession of it, really.
I think it was Corday Bradley. And let's check it out again. We'll slow-mo when we get to it. Remember, you have to turn with the football and make a football move. And he's got the football there, and I don't think he ever had the football. The ball was bobbled, and he never had it. Nevertheless, the officials on high school level don't have an opportunity for replay, so that'll go in the favor of the Ware County Gators. They'll take over midfield at the 50. So a break there for Ware County on the what was ruled a fumble, and here comes Ware County with the football from the 50. Jaquez Bolds in the backfield. Down to the 210, and they're going to want to put one more in. Going long to the left, right-hand side. Jamar Lincoln, a man open. He caught it, and he says, no good. The ball, I think, might have hit the ground, but what a great effort by Jordan Turner.
That was amazing right there. That's worth a replay.
Yeah, what an incredible effort right there, and I think it might have bounced the ground as we check it out. What a soft, nice pass, though, right here by Jamar Lincoln, and just stretching out to go and get this thing. Yeah, he definitely lost the football at the end. Bounced off the ground, but good call by the officials, but great effort nevertheless by Turner. 2:03 now on the clock, 28-3. Gators with more of the big plays, 4 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. Excuse me, 3 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. 1 field goal from 48 yards. They run a little screen play, gives it to Mills. Mills trying to break through, finally brought down at the 47-yard line. So that's a catch for Mills, and a few yards on the play. The whistle blows, and now they'll call a timeout.
Timeout.
That'll give us a chance to check out the standings in Region 3 5A, and this is where it gets a little tricky after Coffee and Glenn. Those two teams are both in with 6-1 records, but South Effingham, Ware County both at 5-2, Effingham County at 4-3, and then Brunswick, Statesboro, Richmond Hill, and Bradwell all out of the playoff picture. Brunswick and Statesboro each 2-5, Richmond Hill 2-6, and Bradwell with an 0-7 season. As I said, Ware County with a win will clinch a playoff spot. Should they not pick up the victory tonight, which it looks like they will, they definitely still have a chance. Let's check out the WSAV Friday Night Blitz, what's coming up. All kinds of games and all kinds of action for you on WSAV Channel 3 tomorrow night at 11:15. The Region 3A Championship, ECI and Savannah Christian. Of course, both those teams with home games in the state playoffs, but the winner takes the region title. Bluffton at home to Somerville, Liberty County and Richmond Hill in a non-conference game. Hilton Head Prep begins the Skeeza playoffs. They'll take on Holly Hill at home. That game's at Bible Baptist. Hilton Head and Hanahan, 2 teams undefeated in the region. Hilton Head looking to go to 10-0. It doesn't get any bigger than that game right there. Hanahan and Hilton Head. Thomas Sumter and Bethesda in the Skeeza playoffs, and Buford heads to Charleston to take on the Berkeley Stags. So a lot of big games right there, but I'm really excited about that. Hanahan and Hilton Head. See if the Seahawks can break through and go to 10-0 this season. Back to live action at the minute 47 mark. Ware County flicking around to the left-hand side. Good defense right there. No fooling Santana Clark for Brunswick, making a nice tackle.
Santana held that one tight.
Dedrick Mills, you see, go in motion, and then just a quick pass to Jamar Lincoln around to the left-hand side. It's DeAndre Taylor, but yeah, nice defensive play. Santana Clark read that all the way. And the clock continues to wind. Now they're going to change personnel on 4th down, and it looks like they may punt the football. They'll bring out their punter, Skylar Dixon, 93, is your punter for the Ware County Gators. He's standing at his 39-yard line.
And this is a first for the Gators for tonight. It looks like we got a penalty, though.
That was the right guard moved. Didn't you play
Prior to
right
the
guard?
snap,
No.
false start. On the offense, 5-yard penalty.
When you're a lineman, you play
fourth
them
down.
all, kid. You play them all.
I'm sure you're. How many penalties did you have there at New York Giants?
Actually, I had less than about 5.
Less than 5 in your career? How many years was that with the Giants?
Well, I was with the Bills for 4 years,
right.
and then with the Giants 3 years. I had less than a dozen penalties.
That's wonderful.
In 7 years playing. That were called. That's right.
Our wonderful Dan Flaxert saying is that what we're called? Okay, so you got away with something. No way. Nobody gets away with. No one gets away with movement on the offensive line. Officials are waiting to pick on you fellas.
We're hard to miss.
Heavy pressure by Brunswick, but he's able to get the punt off and a fair catch, and that's where Brunswick will take over at the 14-yard line. Brunswick will come out with 33 seconds. We'll see if they take a knee and head to halftime or if they try and manage something. We have a great halftime show coming up. Expected Marlo Hinson, the athletic director over at Brunswick. David Shields from Ware County will also join us at halftime, as we have a wonderful halftime show coming up here on the Thursday Night Blitz game of the week. And then, of course, second half of play here on our season finale, our 4th year of live local high school football in the Coastal Empire, the Low Country, and beyond. Our southernmost trip to Waycross in Ware County, and I have to tell you, it's my first chance to call a football game from this facility. And Memorial Stadium was refurbished several years back, maybe 12, 14 years back. And what a wonderful facility this is for high school football.
What a great stadium, Ken. I tell you what, I've been here a couple times, with my football travels, and enjoyed it very much so, as a player, as a fan.
For a Thursday night crowd, a great crowd too.
It is a great crowd. I think does the stadium hold about 8,500 people, I'm told, and we've got probably about 2,500, 3,000 people here.
Yeah, as I said, I think back in 2007, I believe, the state championship game was held here, back when they had the champions at visiting sites or home sites, and the semifinals were at the Georgia Dome. But right now, we're going to head to halftime. It's Ware County on top, 28-3. Of course, we'll take a break and come back with the full halftime show coming up on the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week.
WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week. Now, your Savannah Power Sports Center halftime show.
Welcome back to the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week, the halftime show. Marlo Hinson, athletic director at Brunswick High School. I'm Ken Slats. Thank you so very much for coming up to booth to join us.
No problem.
First of all, let's talk about the scoreboard right now. Unfortunately, on the short end of the scoreboard, but obviously you've had your drives. Brunswick put together some very good drives. Started off with a good drive as well, and we saw a 48-yard field goal. And a football season that, was difficult for a while, but coming off of a couple of wins.
Yeah, well, it's just it wasn't going the way we wanted it to the first half. We did put a few good drives together, but there's another half of football, and we can come out and put the shoe on the other foot. We'll be all right.
A new football coach this season coming in, and I know your second year as athletic director got a hand to kind of bring it in here, and I had a chance to meet with him for an hour or so on Monday, and brings a lot of excitement, a lot of youth, a lot of exuberance, and it seems like his players are starting to buy into his program, and possibly the start of something really special here at Brunswick.
We're really excited about Larry. Larry inherited a program where we have very few. We're a very young team,
right?
And so what you have out there tonight, we've got really just one senior on offense and two seniors on defense,
and a lot of freshmen starting.
A lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, and a few juniors out there, and so. So he took he's taken them to a different level right now, and so we're excited about next year. We're looking forward to getting to the offseason, doing some good work, and getting ready for another competitive year next year.
Well, as we look out on the field here, Marlo, the band, always a wonderful, and maybe some of the extra players out there that deserve a lot of credit for what they provide for football.
Our band director, Mr. Burge, does an excellent job. Those guys work hard. They actually they do laps around the field with their instruments, and so they work just as hard as the football team. And actually, my daughter is a senior out there in the flag corps, and so this is her last performance of her high school career. So I just want to make sure she knows that I love her.
Sports, volleyball, softball, cross country. We're wrapping up. You had one team make a playoffs for the first time?
Yeah, our softball team made the playoffs for the first time. We have a new coach this year. His name is Brian Crawford. Did a very good job for us this year. We have a very young team, but a lot of talent, a lot of good girls coming up, and we're really excited about our softball program.
Then finally, I know something that you were very excited about to talk about, the future, which just tipped off this week, I believe, basketball practice underway and defending state champions.
Yeah, we're really excited about our basketball team. We lost 3 seniors off of our state championship, and so we've got a good group coming back. It's going to be, anytime you win a state championship, you have to have the ball bounce your way, and we had it bounce our way a few times and won a lot of close games. And so we're excited about the season. We hope that we continue that throughout this season, and we end up back in Macon and playing for another state championship.
Heading out of here for the final football game this season, I have to believe that there's a lot of excitement for next year, though, of all those players coming back and all those players. Sean Smith's done a phenomenal job at quarterback, stepping in very late this season. But a good nucleus of players coming back. You have to be very excited about the future.
Absolutely. Sean Smith is a wonderful talent. And really right now you just see the potential of it because he has only practiced quarterback for just less than half the season. But we also have a good core of young running backs. We have two sophomores playing tonight, in Ben McLeod and Shaq Robinson. They're doing a good job. We have a good linebacker core out there that are both sophomores with Sherrod Frazier and then Cam Futch. And, the future's bright at Brunswick High. We've got some work to do. We know that. We can look at that scoreboard and tell that. But we're going to be competitive, and we're going to win some games.
Well, Marlo Hinson, it's been a pleasure. The athletic director at Brunswick High School, thank you so much for joining us.
Ken.
We're going to take a break, and we'll have more of our halftime show coming up on the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week.
Welcome back to the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week. Now more of the Savannah Power Sports Center halftime show.
And welcome back to the halftime show. I'm WSAV's Ken Slatz. Right now it's 28-3. The Brunswick Pirates on the short end, on the road to the Ware County Gators here in Waycross. It was a big start. Brunswick moving the football to start the game with a couple of big runs, and then the first play from scrimmage, though, for the Ware County Gators, Dedrick Mills to DeAndre Taylor. That went for 67 yards, and then Gary Williams with a 49-yard touchdown. Mitch Finneran kicked a 48-yard field goal, and then Jordan Turner and Rajah Bradley with a couple of runs, and that's where we stand at 28-3. This is our fourth season of the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week. It is also our season finale, our final game for this 2015 season. We have had some tremendous games throughout the 4 years we've been able to do this, and it takes a lot of people to put together a production like this. Jerry Perlman leads the way along with Dan Flaxer, but our own Martin Staunton takes us inside access and kind of shows you, the viewer, all that goes into live local high school football. Hi, everybody. I'm WSAV's Ken Slatz, along with Dusty Ziegler for tonight's football game. Dusty.
High school football action brings communities across the coastal empire and Lowcountry together. As they root for their teams, they root for their towns. WSAV Sports Director Ken Slatz says it takes teamwork to bring the game of the week to your home.
I only play a small part of it, calling the play-by-play action, but I think the cameramen that bring those videos and bring the action is what really makes the games.
This is a look at the line of scrimmage to broadcast a live high school football game. Packing up the broadcast gear starts days in advance.
We're 120 miles away this week. You can't forget anything. You certainly can't go to the store and buy a very special cable in Waycross, Georgia. Can't even do it in Savannah. So it's important that we take everything.
Perlman says bringing the action to you live on MyLC and live streaming on the web is like a ballet when it comes to setting up inside the stadium. But does it take an army of people to pull it off?
Definition of what your army is, maybe a little, insurgent group on our part.
It takes about 10 to 12 people to do a game. We have 7 cameras, and I think the biggest challenge was to get it started.
Slatz says coaches and communities were hesitant 4 years ago to move a Friday game to a Thursday, but the efforts of our production crew changed minds.
This year, our 4th year we entered, I had coaches calling me saying, we want to be on the Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week. And that's the most satisfying, knowing that the coaches, the athletic directors, the communities look forward to seeing their schools on TV.
The teams, the people of the cities that we go to, and we go to a lot of places outside of Savannah. We do several in Savannah, but our goal has been to reach all the people in the outlying 26 counties that we cover.
The Jenkins Warriors come up with a 15-14 win in dramatic fashion. God-Great Sooth, remember the name, folks. He kicks a game winner in his first ever high school football game. Dan Flaxer's in our booth, our producer-director, Jerry Perlman, a manager that gets here early in the day and sets things up. John Chambers is in doing the directing for this game. Justin Smith running audio for us. Becky Smith running our jib camera. Lonnie Thompson down on the field running the camera for us. How about Scott Bailey running the camera up top, along with Sean Becker. Jeff Marks is our red hat guy, making sure we're all organized with your fish. Mike Todd running our satellite uplink, and Tony Ruff back at the station at Master Control. For Dusty Ziegler, I'm Ken Slatt saying good night, everybody. Thanks so much to Martin Staunton for going inside access to bring that story of how it takes, it's not just a nighttime or a daytime broadcast, it's a days in advance and preparation. And as I said, from Jerry Perlman and Dan Flaxer and Scott Maley and the rest of our crew, those three have been there every step of the way for 4 years, and it started actually a year or two before that, putting the planning together and buying the equipment and putting it together. And it has been, I've only played a small part of it, and it has been my pleasure to work with such a wonderful crew, as this is our fourth and this is our final broadcast for the 2015 season. We're going to take another break. It's 28-3. Ware County is on top of Brunswick. We'll be back with more of the halftime show on the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week. Welcome back to the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week, brought to you by Ford. Go further. It's a 28-3 score right now. Ware County on top of Brunswick, and Dusty Ziegler and yours truly, Ken Slatt. And, well, what did you see in the first half? Obviously an offensive output of 28 points, but I think the score may even be a little bit more lopsided than what we saw, because we saw Brunswick moving the football and putting together some good drives, just unable to score a touchdown.
Yeah, you're right. You know, they caught a few breaks there and did some productive things. But I tell you what, they gained confidence in what they're doing, and I was happy to see them start to move the ball like that. I thought they did a good job. They're up against a lot of odds here, right. You know, and these Gators are tough. They are very, very tough.
Especially in the swamp.
That's right. They got a whole swamp full of Gators coming at them.
Yeah, we are just north of the Okefenokee swamp down here, and we've had tremendous, tremendous support throughout everybody we've met. A lot of people come up to the truck to say hello to us, and the fans are wonderful. So let's check out some of the plays from the first half, and there certainly were plenty big plays in this football game between Ware County and Brunswick. And here's Ware County right off the bat. In fact, this would be their very first play from scrimmage, and, well, this was how quick it happened. It was a quick pitch, Dedrick Mills, and you'd think he'd run the football being their leading rusher, but instead he airs it out. Dedrick Mills to DeAndre Taylor, that one going for 67 yards, and, wow, Ware County on the board that quick after Brunswick had had a couple of first downs themselves with their first play. So Ware County taking the 6-0 lead, and, well, they weren't done. Now it's 22's turn, and that is Gary Williams. And watch his burst of speed along the left-hand side. And Williams just outruns the coverage. Nobody's going to catch him as he takes it into the end zone. A valiant effort by Danesia Gamage for Brunswick, but unable to catch him into the end zone. That made it 14-0. How about Ware's defense? And a big Ware defense right here, just coming up with the big stuff right there and send it backwards. That's Bolds right there. Jaquez Bolds making the big stuff for Ware County. And yeah, they were definitely a team on the move, a double pass, I should say, and coming into the hands of Jordan Turner. Turner runs one in. That went for 27 yards, and, well, they tacked on. That was 21 points in the first half of play. And there was one that went the other way right there. Bolds, who scored 5 touchdowns last week against South Effingham, but that one didn't make it. You saw the hanky, the yellow hanky being called, and that one was called back. So it remained 21-3, but it didn't take long after that. It was big Rajah Bradley, the fourth different player to take one into the end zone with a 6-yard run, and that's where we stand at 28-3. And I'm kind of impressed as well as the number of players that we've seen make those big plays. Usually you see 1 or 2 guys, but, man, they spread it around.
It seems like there's a lot of guys touching that football and scoring with it, and it's been fun to watch, I tell you what. And, you know, it's such a motivator for the team and the young guys and everybody, you know, just to see different guys get out there and have great big plays and have that success. It creates that enthusiasm.
Gives us a chance to check out some of our best teams. I know you're from Effingham County in this region, Region 3, 5A. They, at one time, were in our WSAV Blitz Top 10. Ware County kind of hanging out there. The 2 losses bopped them out, but they pop right back in. But what an incredible, difficult, one of the toughest regions in the state. But we'll check out how many teams we have in our Toyota WSAV Blitz Top 10.
The Blitz Top 10 is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer.
Benedictine holds down the top spot unanimously for the 4th straight week. The Cadets can make it 10-0 with a win over Long County. Hilton Head High also looking to improve to 10-0. The Seahawks have held on to the 2 spot for 4 consecutive weeks. They'll have their toughest test Friday night against also region unbeaten Hanahan. Are we going to be able to, after falling out of the poll in week number 5, the Glenn Academy Terrors have won 5 straight and worked their way back up to number 3. They'll finish up at home against South Effingham. ECI and Savannah Christian are 4 and 5 respectively. They'll go head-to-head for the Region 3A title this week at Pooler Stadium. Pinewood Christian enters the playoffs in the Georgia Independent School Association undefeated, a spot above Region 3 5A's Ware County. The Gators all set for the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz game of the week against Brunswick. Screven County is 8, followed by undefeated Bethesda. The Blazers open up the South Carolina Independent School playoffs against Thomas Sumter. And the Cavalry Cavs wrap up our Week 11 Toyota WSAV Blitz Top 10. The wonderful Gator Band here at the Swamp down in Waycross, all pepped up as their team has a 28-3 lead. Ware County leads Brunswick on the Thursday Night Blitz game of the week. We'll have more in the third quarter kickoff coming up right after these messages.
Savannah Power Sports Center halftime show. Stick around. The second half is coming right up.
Welcome back to the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz game of the week, brought to you by Ford. Go further, and the statistics will show that the Brunswick Pirates are trailing 28-3. Brunswick in the first half, 52 yards passing, and they ran for 148 yards for 9 for 48 yards, 137 total yards for the Brunswick Pirates in the first half, therefore only 3 points, and that was a 48-yard field goal by Mitch Finner, and he actually hit a 43-yarder, and a penalty was called, kicked him 5 yards back, and he still nailed it perfectly through the uprights. Ware County, 230 total yards, 87 passing, 67 of that, though, came on that very first play from Dedrick Mills to DeAndre Turner. 143 of those yards were rushing, and of course Gary Williams, the big rusher, 54 of that on 2 carries for Gary Williams. Haven't seen a whole lot of Jaquez Bolds. He did have a touchdown in the second quarter, but that one was called back on a penalty. So there's your yardage, and there's your pretty cleanly played, and there wasn't a whole lot of penalties. We saw a couple in that one series, but for the most part, not a whole lot of penalties, and we've only seen, I believe it was 1 turnover in the game.
One turnover. We talked about turnovers earlier, and why they haven't made a big difference in this game when you look at the score, because it's a bit lopsided. It's neat to watch the Gators execute. These guys can execute. They execute and do their plays well. These guys have been doing a great job out here tonight. And I think that's what has allowed so many different guys to get in there and score. They seem to be a well-disciplined team.
Well, I'll tell you what, as we talked about, for their head football coach, Franklin Stevens, he's a well-disciplined head football coach. I mean, you don't win 108 games in 9 seasons of football, and you're doing something right. There's no doubt about it.
You're absolutely right. And, you know, if he's what I think he is, he's a repetition guy, and he makes him do it over and over and over again until it's perfect. And then that way they get out here under the lights, and they do it perfect when it counts.
Franklin Stevens went to Burke County High School, graduated in '91. Georgia Southern, an offensive lineman, 1996. He had tryouts with the St. Louis Rams, along with the played arena ball, in New York for the City Hawks. 96 to 2001. He started his coaching career. He was an assistant coach at Burke County. Then he went over to Camden County from 2002 to 2006. 2007 to 11 at Tucker High School as the head coach, and then Lamar County, and then of course this is his second year here at Ware County as we're set for the second half kickoff. And it's a not too deep of a kickoff to the right-hand side, and here comes Ware County at the 40-yard. Ware County around the right-hand side, trying to cross midfield. Big run by Hakeem Dillard, and Dillard takes it all the way into Brunswick territory, and that's where Ware County will start things out. special teams and turnovers and penalties, and that's Ware County has done. They've done a fine job on the kicking game, and of course they've limited their penalties as well.
And they've made the big plays too, Ken. They have made some big plays tonight.
So here comes Ware County from the 46. They'll mark it, and they'll have a chance here in the third quarter of play to try and put a touchdown on the board. First play, pitch out to the left-hand side. Alex Sales with the carry, and Sales with a little bit. Might have given him 3 on the play. We'll see where they mark the football. So here comes Ware County. It's 28-3. Huddling back up. Saw a lot of no huddle in the first half. And huddling up here in the second. Probably trying to take a little bit more time off the clock, run their offense, and see what they can do. Mills goes in motion. Straight drop back. Looking long. Jamar Lincoln. Lincoln wide open. Touchdown. Jordan Turner. 45 yards on the touchdown. And Ware County's on the board. Talk about a quick spark, almost like the first half there, Dusty Ziegler.
I'd say one more big play on the board. If we get a chance to look at that, I'd be curious to see what happened to the coverage on that. I think somebody might have blown the coverage. It looks like he got back there pretty quick and got behind the safety.
So the extra point is up, and the extra point is good. So that's pretty quick. They're up 35-3 now. And here's a nice play fake. And he was wide open. Nobody there to even cover him. Takes it into the end zone for a touchdown.
Ken, we sure have been hearing that train horn all night. It sounds like somebody's got their hand mashing the button. They're not taking it off.
So there is head football coach Franklin Stevens chatting away with his crew. 35-3, and this is a team that wants to take things to the next level. Ware County obviously deep into the playoffs nearly every year, but it's a football team that, you know, has very, very high hopes. Had a chance to sit down with head coach Franklin Stevens, and here's what he has to say about that elusive, so far, state title.
You won region championships, you won a lot of games, you played for state championships, but eventually you want to be able to be the second group that go up on the stage at the Dome and get the granite, the piece of granite along with that silver cup and say that you're the state champion for whatever classification you're in at that time.
So the kickoff back to live action. Here comes Brunswick. Hit hard at the 20-yard line. Nowhere to go that time. Good defense on special teams for Ware County.
All right, the Pirates come out. We're on the 21-yard line. Looks like they're gonna line right up. They're ready to play.
So here comes Brunswick now with the football at the right around the 20. It's Sean Smith dropping back, a little play pitcher on the right-hand side, and he tries to get free to DJ Whitfield, but finally brought down was Ed Bolds, big number 9. Jaquez Bolds making the tackle.
That play looked like it was going to develop good, and then it crumbled there pretty quick. Bold sniffed it out and run up field. So puts the Pirates in a tight position, Ken.
Yeah, they're way back in their own. Their backs against the wall, if you will. In a 35-3 game, Ware County just starting out playing, but he rolls around to his left. The lefty throws it long. Got a man open just over the outstretched arms of Kenneth Dallas, his top target at wide receiver, unable to hit him. And they're going to be forced, I believe it is a 4th down now. They'll be able to punt the football, or it's a long 3rd.
This is a very, very, very long third.
Third, that's what they're, a very long third, you're right.
I believe you said all the way to Okefenokee earlier.
Looking at their wrists, and there you see big 77 on the left-hand side, Deontay Demery. You can see he's got the look. Passes the eye test. Good blocking there, nothing to go. Go along to the left-hand side, throws it into heavy pressure. Is that Dedrick Mills on the pick? Mills has some room around the right-hand side. Dedrick Mills crosses the 10, 5, almost to the end zone. I think he's down at the 2. Dedrick Mills and Ware County knocking on the door once again.
Yeah, that's a great job of awareness for where the first down marker is for the DBs and the defensive players. You know, they know that's the target, and they were standing right there waiting. There was 4 guys right there.
There's a replay on the play. He just kind of, you know, he's got that soft touch again, but that one he laid into triple coverage. Odds aren't good when you throw it into triple coverage.
The odds aren't really in your favor.
Especially when it hangs up in the air that long. So we'll see. I'm anticipating maybe it's Bold's time to get into the end zone. He had one called back. He's in the backfield behind his quarterback. And all kinds of movement on the offensive line on the left-hand side. We had a jump on the left-hand side, and that'll take him back 5 yards.
That might have been the guard.
Prior to the snap, encroachment on the defense, half the distance to the goal, replay, first down.
Called the encroachment. Wow, I didn't really see that.
I didn't see that either.
Maybe that's why there was so much movement on Ware County's line. But again, here's Jamar Lincoln. He has Bolds right behind him, and he fumbles the football. Tackled quickly. George Mincy, big 41, falling on for Brunswick on top of the quarterback Lincoln, but take a 1-yard loss right there. Here we go right back to live action again. Again, it's Bolds behind his quarterback. Bolds doesn't get it, though. Dedrick Mills does, and he's into the end zone for a 2-yard touchdown. That'll hit the 41 mark.
There goes that train horn. One more time, kid. I'm being told that's a 5-chime horn.
Dedrick Mills, and we have an injury on the field, too. It looks like Ronnie Adams. 75 on the play. Check that, Monquez Maxwell. Maybe we can check out the replay again of the touchdown play. Let's roll it. Your replays are brought to you by your Savannah Low Country Honda dealers, and just nice heavy blocking, and that's Mills just standing up with another touchdown. And how long on that touchdown run? I believe it was from 4 yards out. We'll credit him to 2 yards out. So a 2-yard touchdown run. We're at the 41 to 3, and we'll see if they can add the extra point. This has gotten a little out of control, and they definitely don't want to see that. That is Monquez Maxwell. He's able to get up, and you see head coach Franklin Stevens walking out with him as well. And Maxwell kind of limp off to the sidelines, and the extra point will come. It will be Noah Shepard on to make it 42 to 3. Quarterback Jamar Lincoln is the holder. Snap is down, snaps up, the kick is up, and the kick is good. So we have a 42 to 3, and there's your horn. I did learn something earlier today, that we are in a town that was originally called Tebowville, is what it was originally called in the 1800s, and they changed the name. It's where 6 railroad lines all meet in one place. It's where ways cross. They called it, it's where the ways cross, and there was how you get Waycross. And the Okefenokee Swamp is called, it means the land of the trembling earth. So Dusty, I wanted to educate you as much as I can on our area down here in southern Georgia, and I'm gonna test you in our post-game show. So remember the land of the trembling earth. 4 plays, 2 yards on the touchdown.
Well, I can tell you this. I don't know which came first about the names, but with all them trains, I'm sure the earth trembles around here quite a bit.
So it's Brunswick, or the footballs are being thrown out, or something's being thrown out. So Ware County sets kickoff at a 42-3 game. We'll see if we get to that point where we're going to start running the clock. Here in the third quarter is 9:28. Well, they have that choice too in this. So the kick is off, kind of a knobbler down to the left-hand side. Here comes Brunswick. Nice move around the left-hand side, a little bit of room. Roger Burley, I believe, is that 12 on the carry? Yeah. Roger Burley with his first chance. We've seen enough of, excuse me, check that. Conde Mosley on the return. Sort out my teams here going from left to right. So Brunswick will be back out behind their big fella there, Deontay Demery on the left-hand side. We'll see if they can try and run behind him. Get to a point where they need to start passing the football, but I'm sure that they want to make just a little bit of strides right now. Nice quick pass off to the left-hand side. Is that DJ Whitfield again, his target? Gain of about 5 on the 4 maybe on the play for Whitfield. So Mills is in on the tackle, and now it's down to 8:58 to go. So Brunswick with their quarterback, Sean Smith, the junior, running the show. You won't see a lot of seniors on this football team. Little fake and runs it right up the middle, kind of a draw play. Gains about 7 and a first down. Gets into the 47-yard line, so he's crossed over into Ware County territory, and this is the point where you try and make those small strides and those things that you can build on. Obviously, the score has gotten a little out of control, but you still want to do as much good as you can before the lights goes off. That's right. It's building blocks at this point, and get a few more young guys in there, different players, and let them get the game experience so they can take that into next year. All right, here comes Brunswick with a fresh set of downs. The Pirates, quick handoff straight up the middle. Again going to Ben McLeod, and that's what impressive. Shaq Robinson, Ben McLeod, they're 2 leading rushers on this Brunswick team, both only sophomores. So the future is bright there, especially, I'm most impressed with Sean Smith and the number of things that he can do. Obviously trying to maybe do a little bit too much a couple times, but he's really versatile. He's got he's a left-handed quarterback. It can drop back in the pocket and throw, but he can also run the football. Absolutely, and I don't think, Brunswick's not short-handed on talent. They've got a lot of guys out there with a lot of talent. And as you say, when they're young players on the field and they're inexperienced, let's get them the experience right now. Irvin Nard, the senior for Ware County, coming up with the sack. Just nowhere to go for Sean Smith, and that'll take them back into their own territory. Actually, no, they're just across the 50-yard line at the 49. It's 42-3, 7:24. You're watching the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz game of the week. It's all Ware County on the scoreboard in Region 3 5A. The Gators getting set to wrap up a playoff spot, a guaranteed a playoff spot, should they finish this off and come up with a win here at Memorial Stadium down in Waycross. So it's third down. We'll call it 3rd and 12. A man in motion. That's Whitfield. Fakes the handoff to Whitfield. Rolls around to his left. A left-handed pass. Fires a pass across to his tight end. Hits his tight end, too, for a nice gain. That's Wiley Gordon with the catch, and it'll be short of the first down, though. So that'll bring up a 4th. Well, they are across midfield, but still have a good almost 5 yards to go. So looks like they'll bring out their punter, Seth Nussbauer, number 18, standing at his own 44-yard line. Now he sneaks up now a little bit to his 46. Snap is good. And the punt is off. A good high punt, straight ahead. Caught at the 3-yard line, fumbled the football and tackled, immediately knocked out and taken out of bounds and cuts it up to the left. I think his knee was on the ground at the 2. I don't think it was he went out of bounds. I think his knee was down at the 2 when he picked it up. Let's check out the replay, but I'm pretty sure that was the call. Almost went back into the end zone for a safety.
He sure did. It was an exciting play there for a moment.
It was a good high punt, and he caught it right around the 2-3 yard line. And let's check it out. I believe when he went down to get the ball, that's Jordan Turner right there. His knee is not down. He stepped into the end zone. I'm not sure why they called it down then.
That's interesting.
His knee never hit the ground, so I'm not sure. I think that might have been what they called and thought his knee hit the ground, but it obviously didn't. But again, they don't have the benefit of having replay. Give them the benefit of the doubt. The officials did done a great job tonight, too. All right, man in motion and a missed hand off the ball. Fumbled into the end zone. There's a safety.
Confusion in the backfield.
Jamar Lincoln able to fall on the football, but not before a safety's called, and Brunswick puts 2 more on the board, 42-5 now.
We'll watch that again and see the defensive line and see what kind of penetration they got. They got good penetration. There was some confusion in the backfield.
George Mincy got in very quickly. 58, Kareem Scriven. Those two kind of leading the way, maybe leading the charge, along with Tony Hayward also quickly in. These guys, names that don't always get called, getting quickly.
Cardinal sin of an offensive lineman is when you're in that situation, don't take a step backwards when the ball is snapped. Everything you do has got to be moving forward. You can't let that happen.
Gives us a chance to thank yet another one of our sponsors, but also a partnership that we've formed. WSAV wants you to recognize the best in class, community, and competition. Nominate a high school senior for the Vaden Automotive Scholar Athlete. You can log on to WSAV.com/Scholar Athlete to find out all the details. Reward a deserving student with a scholarship from WSAV, the Vaden Automotive Scholar Athlete. We've already given out 1 scholarship, and we have several more during this high school football season. High school seniors only. You can check out all the rules, but it's our 2nd year of the Scholar Athlete, and we are so excited to be giving out scholarship money for our local student athletes. So the situation is a punt by Ware County, and Brunswick will get the football back. 5 plays, 2 touchdowns, and a safety this quarter. So the punt is made from the 25-yard line, and a 1 bouncer for Brunswick. He's going to have to chase it backwards, and finally falls on the football, and that's where, is that Elijah Smith, I think, finally gathered it. So I'm sure they wanted a little better field position than that. So they'll take over on the 26-yard line. Brunswick will again, 5:50, 42-5 at Memorial Stadium. My first trek here to South Georgia, to the Swamp. Stadium built, I believe, in the 40s. That's been 1949 and renovated 2002. It's an old baseball stadium. In fact, in the corner, if we can get a look out of it, after this play, you can see the run up the middle, Sean Smith. But if we can swing one of our cameras around, I'll let our Dan Flaxer know. It's got the facade. Looks a lot over there like Grayson Stadium in Savannah. You know, the baseball corner with the top over there, and a nice huge crowd. Wonderful camera work by, I believe that's Becky Smith running our jib camera. But what a great facility this is, and an impressive facility, and just the support down here in Ware County and Waycross of this high school football team is a joy to watch. And a pass straight up the middle, again hitting his tight end. He's had a lot of success. Wiley Golden hauling that one in for a nice gain, and they'll move the chains for the Brunswick Pirates. So here comes Brunswick again, fresh set of downs. Quick snap back, and he'll run it himself. Little draw play for Sean Smith, and he'll fall forward for a nice gain of maybe 3 yards. So the clock's running at the 4:33 mark, and Brunswick no huddle again. Sean Smith doing a phenomenal job as just a junior quarterback. He'll have another year left. And as I said, he was their top target at wide receiver, also played kick return. This is rather new to him with the transfer of quarterback Brandon Jernigan. He left to go to Glen Academy. His family made a move, and he's waiting on his eligibility. But there's the fellow that you were impressed with so far, Corday Bradley, and he almost break free from an ankle tackle.
Yeah, he's a tough football player. I've enjoyed watching him. I wish him luck. He's got one more year. He's another one of those guys. The Pirates going to huddle up on this one.
You haven't seen a whole lot of that.
I sure haven't.
You know, I really like the poise in the pocket that Sean Smith shows. You know, he has I guess it's a 4 or 5 step quarterback drop, but he's very poised in the pocket. Takes his time, looks around, and then takes off if he has to. But he really, you know, stands tough in the pocket. I think he throws his passes too soft a little sometimes, but that one was caught, broken up, and we have an injury on the field too. Condre Mosley, is it just a cramp or he got hit on it? Yeah, I think it's just a cramp for Mosley. He'll hop off and try and shake it off. He's in pain right there. But good defensive play. I think that was Jaquez Bowles back there. If we can check out the replay, we'll find out who broke that thing up. But it was a great defensive play. But again, I think sometimes he's just a little bit too much, too soft on his pass, and maybe too much air under it.
But it did almost work out over his shoulder coming back to it.
Yeah, he brought his player back, and yeah, nice play, Bolds.
Bolds did a good job not letting him get behind him.
Actually, I think that's 8. We'll check that. That's DeAndre Taylor, it looks like. Is that an 8? He's got his jersey pulled up. We'll have to run down there. Joseph, run down there, tell him to pull his jersey down so we can tell what number he's wearing. So we have a little timeout on the field, 3:22. Gives us a chance to thank again Savannah Power Sports. They've been a sponsor with us here at the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz for several years now. Visit one of the Savannah or Statesboro Power Sports Center showrooms to see their complete line of Victory, Polaris, Suzuki, and Can-Am products. Savannah Power Sports Center, 5918 Ogeechee Road, across from Keller's Flea Market in Savannah, or Statesboro Power Sports Center on US Highway 80 in Statesboro. Thanks so much for being a sponsor of live local high school football on the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week. We thank all our viewers for tuning in on WSAV's MyLC or online on WSAV.com. Our replay of tonight's broadcast will be on Sunday morning on WSAV Channel 3, and that'll be at 10:30 in the morning, the replay. So Brunswick, again, with another shot now. They're faced with a 4th down, though. It looks like they'll probably punt the football. They do have their punter in, Seth Newsbauer. The snap is up, a heavy pressure, but he's able to get another good punt. A fair catch, I believe, called, and yes, it is called. Quay Harriet now. We saw a fumble in the last one, and they might have changed, and there's Franklin Stevens, and he's looking to go on and win his 8th game this season, his 109th game overall in his high school. You know, he's looking to he's definitely looking to the playoffs. You know, this was a game that he knew that he needed to win, but it's been that way for a few weeks now. He's used to being in the playoffs. He had a different approach this season, having to earn that spot this late in the season.
Big breakfast so we can go to...
All right, back to the snap real quick right here, and here comes Ware County. Big burst of speed and a big hole, too. Look at Alex Sales go. Sales cuts back and finally tackled at the 28-yard line. Alex Sales with a huge run.
One big play after another, Ken. I tell you, it's been a game full of big plays.
You know, usually we see Dedrick Mills in there and Bowles, but now we're seeing a little bit of Sales and mixing it up. In fact, I think we made a QB change as well. We'll see if, I don't think Jamar Lincoln was in there. I didn't catch it real quick. That is Dawson Goddard, the junior, coming in, getting some playing time. And here's his first play. Will be memorable for tonight. And a handoff, and Sales takes care of the rest up the right-hand side. Almost broke free as we check out live action now from the 28-yard line. And here comes another handoff on the right-hand side. Sales again. Just not quite as big, but I think he got about 3, maybe 4 yards on the play for Sales. We'll give him 3 on the carry. Wrapping down to 236.
That's the run it again play, Coach. We talked about that earlier. You have that big play, run it again. And he picked up yardage on it.
All right, so here goes Ware County again, moving the football with a new quarterback in there. Dawson Goddard. We'll see if we see yet another handoff. He has Rajah Bradley in. Check that to the left-hand side, Gary Williams. And let's try that again. As we said, Coach Franklin Stevens used to the playoffs, and he had to take maybe a different approach to earn that spot this late in the season this year.
Our playoff started against Statesboro, because if we go down against Statesboro, it's pretty much over. So, it's for the last 2 weeks, we've been in the playoffs in our mind, and that's our mindset. We've got to go out and we've got to take care of business each day. We're not winning on Friday night or Thursday night this week. We're winning during the week through our preparation, and we got to try to get the third one this week now.
Dusty Ziegler, he made a great point. We're not winning on Friday nights, and a lot of coaches will say that, or tonight, Thursday night. You got to win football games, and you win them on Monday as Sales plows forward across the 20. You win those games on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is when you win football games. How do you analyze that?
There's so much truth in that, and for me, it took me a long time to learn that as a player. But Coach is absolutely right. You learn how to win during practice, and the coaches, they might seem like they're all over you and staying on you, but they're just preparing you for Friday nights when they're not on the field with you. And then you'll make those great decisions that they prepared you for.
And coaches a lot of times, will take the brunt of it and
say,
this loss was on me. But when it comes down to it, the players have to execute, and that's where that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday comes in. Learning how to execute and do it every single time, and that's how you win those early days.
Absolutely. There's a lot to be said about that repetition, because you train your body to a second nature. When you get out there and that ball snapped, it's second nature, and you're doing exactly perfect every time.
And then you get some of those super special players in the National Football League that kind of change things up, and they're still able to do it like it is exactly repetition.
Yeah, I tell you, it doesn't matter what they do, they make it special.
So we got yet a third quarterback in there now, and that's A.C. Polk, just a sophomore. Polk hands it off to Alex Sales around the right-hand side, and 3 quarterbacks. We haven't hit the fourth quarter yet, down to 30 seconds. We'll see when they start the 25-second play clock. We're under 25, so they don't even have to run another play. I think they'll just kind of run it out. The play clock finally starting, but the game clock under 20, and that'll take us to our break as we count down 15 seconds. Ware County on top, 42-5. The fourth quarter of the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week is coming up straight after this. Welcome back to the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week, brought to you by Ford. Go Further, our season finale of the 2015 high school football season, and we're about set to start our final quarter. 12 minutes left to go here on our final installment of live local high school football. We've seen teams from all over the area. This is our farthest trek, heading down to Waycross in Ware County, and we've seen a football team that, last season they really thought that they were a team to win a state championship, came up a couple games short from winning that title, but we've really seen Brunswick coming in with just a 2-5 record in the region. This is a better football. This is a good football team, and you know what it's like. You have a son who plays in this region. You played at Effingham County. This is a tough region, and there's no gimmies on the schedule across the board.
There really isn't. I mean, Southeast Georgia high school football, it doesn't really get any better than that. You got so many kids out there that love playing the sport and do a great job at it, and it's I'm a fan now. It's fun to watch. It's fun to get the highlights on Friday nights. It is tough. This is just a tough region of football.
And it prepares you, you know what it's like too, when you get prepared more and more for the postseason as Sales takes the football. Because when you get into the playoff, I know Donald Chumley over at Savannah Christian told me several times when they made that 3-time run to the Dome, We play for 15 games. That's our mentality before we start the season. This is one of those programs that plays to get to the Dome. While they haven't won that state title, this is a coach and a team that could do that.
It takes that mentality, and you're thinking about these are just, they're stepping stones in the way that you've got to get past to get where you want to be. You're right. You know, you start the season with that focus. And, you know, that's when I was at Notre Dame, Lou Holtz was like that. Hey, we're playing for a national championship every year.
And won one.
That's right.
So here comes Ware County, rolling around to the left. A.C. Polk, the third quarterback in, but give credit, man, Sherrod Frazier, the sophomore linebacker, in there quickly, and that's a sack on Polk. A.C. Polk, the third quarterback we've seen tonight. We're not sure if he's third on the depth chart, but Dawson Goddard came in, the junior, and took some snaps as well as the clock continues to run. And 42-5 right now. So here comes Brunswick, and that'll turn the football over for Ware County, and the Brunswick offense will come back out. They'll stick with their starters too, Sean Smith. And I do see our producer-director, Dan Flaxer, pointing out he's right. The clock continues to run, so we'll have a running clock here in the fourth quarter. Quick snap, quick handoff, straight up the middle. Again, I believe Ben McLeod on the carry. 22, I think. We used him quite a bit. Yep, that was McLeod up the middle. Used him quite a bit in the first half of play. Again, they'll go with the no huddle. Dustier veteran now here at the Thursday Night Blitz game. Game number 2 for you. Play fake, and he gets out, and he runs into his own man, and that's not going anywhere. That was kind of ugly from the start.
That was kind of ugly.
Nowhere to go for Sean Smith, but your impressions of maybe your future as a broadcaster?
Yeah, even if I were to do it, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't do as good a job as you guys do. You guys are on the money. You are well rehearsed, and you do a fantastic job.
You played for Lou Holtz, and Lou Holtz stepped into the broadcast booth, so it's probably right. Is that the way it works?
I might could get that down, sucker.
5-yard face mask on the defense.
I think there's some frustration out
second
there
down.
now.
Face mask on Ware County. I know the quarterback, Sean Smith, had about 3 or 4 players trying to stand him up, and I didn't really catch a face mask, but there's the call, and there's a fake again, and the quarterback's just kind of running it along the right-hand side. Sean Smith taking another hit. You wonder if this late in the game you want to be giving your starting quarterback the hits up the middle.
Yeah, you know, that's another one of those things that's tough to kind of call. If you got young guys, you want to play them, get the experience. But you're right, score's a bit lopsided, so let everybody get a little bit of experience.
You got to remember, too, I mean, this was a team that Smith was not their starting quarterback. Brandon Jernigan, who transferred out just a couple weeks ago, was the starter all of last year. Victor Floyd was the head football coach. They made a coaching change, so he was the starter all but I think 2 games this year. And so Smith is really their second string, which means their second string is now their third, so maybe it just doesn't have enough reps to even come in. Quick handoff, straight up the middle, plowing forward. Was that your boy, Corday Bradley? I
believe it was.
Bradley again on the carry.
He runs with some power. I like that guy.
Plays tight end position, but we've seen him line up in the backfield several times.
Yeah, he's got the stocky stature, big shoulders. I think he can plow through there. He's a difference maker. He's going to have a great senior year. He keeps playing like that.
We'll choose our performance of the game afterward. I know Dedrick Mills with a big 67-yard touchdown pass. Not bad when you're 1 of 1 for 67 yards on passing. Like
perfect.
Dedrick Mills, he carried the ball 3 times, 13 yards, I believe, as Sean Smith goes around the left-hand side, takes a pop at the end. 3 carries, 13 yards, but a rushing touchdown. So he's in on 2 touchdowns. And the way they mix things up, I believe he's the only player in on 2 TDs. Actually, Jordan Turner with a 27-yard touchdown run and a 46-yard touchdown catch. Jordan Turner with an interception as well. So we have several players that we could give our performance of the game to. Dedrick Mills, though, as I said, and he also had a 3-yard reception, so 93 total yards, a couple of touchdowns for Mills. But Jordan Turner, as I said, we'll check out the votes here. figure it out. Oh, looked like he wanted to hand it off to Corday Bradley. Bradley didn't take it. The quarterback that's in now fell on top of it, Calvin Goodette. So Mills with a 3-yard reception, 1 for 3. And 6:27, the clock's running, 42-5. Gators in control, and they will move to 7-2, and more importantly, 6-2 in the region as a big burst up the middle. Around the right-hand side, big run, his feet are still going, and Calvin Goodette with a huge run. He was down on contact, and while it was picked up by Ernest Jones, that's where it's going to stand right there for Brunswick. They knocked off Brooks County. We did Ware County at the beginning of the year, then Hampton, and the third game was their biggest. That region, to open up region play, they beat Coffee 23-14. That's Coffee's only loss this season so far. And Goodette, you see, hit the ground when he lost, but Coffee leads that region with a 8-1 overall record, but 6-1 in the region. Glenn Academy a game back at 6-1, and then South Effingham at 5-2. Ware County will go to 6-2. And Brunswick will fall to 2-6. Effingham County 4-3. So still a lot to be settled as far as juggling, but the only thing that Ware County and Franklin Stevens knows, they've clinched a playoff spot with their win tonight, and that's the most important thing for here. We're approaching the 5-minute mark. Quick pass out to the left-hand side, and a little bit of ruin and a blocker for DJ Whitfield, and he gets toward the first down marker. I think he might be a yard short of it, but it was close. So Goodette hits Whitfield, and the Pirates are moving the football. A lot of people that make our productions come through. My longtime partner, Dan Flaxer, our producer director, has done a phenomenal job for 4 years as we've kind of grown this thing. We began it from the first season and did 6 games and then extended to full seasons after that. Jerry Perlman and his production crew show up real early in the morning and begin working and putting things together. Scott Maley has been a photographer, doing a great job up top with our replay camera, 4 years now. Sean Becker also on the roof. Shantez Taylor running a camera along with Becky Smith, Shantez Harrington, excuse me. Also Spencer Thomason. John Chambers is in the truck. Lonnie Thompson spent a lot of time with us as our cameraman. Look at a big hole for Goodette up the middle. Calvin Goodette. Justin Smith is our audio man. Tony Ruff back at the studios. Mike Todd running our satellite truck. Joseph Akins here, keeping our statistics tonight. Adam Paul, who's spent a lot of time running our satellite truck as well. I think I've gotten everybody. I don't want to miss anybody. It's been a wonderful 4 years, and a lot of different people have stepped in and out, but big handoff up the middle. Ben McLeod, nowhere to go as we count down our finale of our 2015 season. Band is still playing when they're really not supposed to during play, but I don't think the officials are at a point where they're going to say anything right now. So here's Goodette around to the left-hand side and chased out of bounds. Julian Thomas will get his name in the books as forcing him out of bounds for the Ware County Gators. The clock will continue to run as we're at a continuous running clock. 42-5 will most likely be our final unless the Brunswick Pirates can punch in a touchdown before we head out of here. So it's Goodette this time in the shotgun. He'll throw quickly to his right-hand side. That's Whitfield. Man, he's hammered quickly. Denzel Stevenson, the sophomore, blasted him immediately after the catch.
Looked like that ball hit the ground to me.
So here comes Brunswick back again. Shotgun formation, Goodette.
They're doing that Trips train look again we saw earlier.
Trips train is what you call it, eh? Appropriate in our train town here. Goodette with a huge hole, bust forward inside the 5, and he's doing a wonderful job of running this offense. He's actually ran the football quite a bit on the draw, but they'll take it to the 5, and you know they're going to rush and try and get one into the end zone before they head out of here.
It's one of their better drives of the night, been most productive.
You definitely don't want to make that 1 hour drive back to Brunswick and come up empty on the scoreboard as far as a touchdown. Their defense scored a touchdown, and they kicked a long field goal, but they haven't been able to put a full touchdown in. I should say a safety their defense scored, but there's Goodette, hit hard, but he loses the football at the very end and fumbles into the end zone, I believe.
That might be Ware ball.
I think he fumbled it up high into the end zone. They're still fighting for it down on the field, and we haven't gotten the official call yet. And it looks like 29. Is that Melvin White coming out of the football? And that's a tough break for Brunswick because Goodette made some very hard runs throughout that entire drive. And we'll watch the replay brought to you by our Savannah Low Country Honda dealers.
Very tough break. And he was right in the end zone. Oh, I just knew he had scored too.
If we could see that replay one more time, slow-mo, I want to try and give out the gentleman's name who made the strip, because that was a great tackle. He hit him hard and made the strip, and I couldn't quite tell who that was for Ware County, but that was the play right there.
You know, the great defensive players, they put their nose on the football when they make the tackle.
Yeah, he came from the right-hand side, and he just got through a tackle. I'm looking at the 19, Jason Jashad Howard, a freshman, maybe if that's 19, but great play on the ball right there to force the fumble. And so here comes Ware County. We'll see maybe a couple knees down under the 2-minute mark. They'll just run the football forward. I don't believe we'll get Brunswick timeouts.
We'll wind it down here in about 10 more seconds.
We'll have a post-game show. We'll bring in our performance of the game. And Franklin Stevens, head football coach of Ware County, hopefully will quickly come up here and join us. And they're just actually going to call it right there. And that was the quickest call. It took about a minute and just zipped it down in no time. So that'll run down the clock. 42-5 is your final score. Ware County coming through with what they call a playoff win, your final regular season game. So they'll head into the GHSA 5A playoffs starting next week. We're going to take a break as well as the teams shake hands. Dusty and I will be back with the post-game show right here on the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week.
Welcome back to the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week. Now your Savannah Power Sports Center post-game show.
All right, Dusty Ziegler, yours truly, Ken Sletch, wrapping things up here. And I think we kind of had a sense of what was going to go on in this football from the very first play from scrimmage for Ware County. They came out with a trick play, scored a touchdown, and they really never looked back.
They really didn't. I tell you what, it was just big play after big play after big play. I almost want to reach over there and push the button on that locomotive horn one more time.
It's a cool locomotive horn here down at Memorial Stadium in Waycross, Ware County with a huge win over Brunswick. First of all, let's start with the team on the short end, Brunswick. While that score was really lopsided, we saw them do a lot of good things for a young football team.
You really did. They got athletes. They were moving the ball, especially that last drive. They were productive. They've got a lot of building blocks. They really do. And the focal point for those guys is the offseason. Get that offseason, move it in the right direction so they can come back next year and have a breakout season.
I was impressed most with their quarterback, Sean Smith. The lefty, very poised in the pocket, just a junior, forced into being a starting quarterback just a game ago. So he really, he's got a bright future, I think, next year if he can really work hard.
Yeah, I mean, you could see his athletic ability out there. I mean, he was showing us that, but he has a good head for the game, too, knowing where the first down marker is and doing all the right things. He's got a bright future in football.
Now for the Ware County Gators, Dusty, this is a football team that, like we talked about, 15 games is what they think that they want to do. And what'd you see? Is this a state championship type team, what we saw tonight?
There's no doubt in my mind, and it's because they have the depth and they execute. You saw tonight so many different guys making so many different big plays, and you saw the whole team executing. Not only making the big play, they were good on turnovers. They kept the penalties to a minimum. These guys are a state championship caliber team.
It'll start next week when they head to the 5A state playoffs, and we'll bring to our Subway play of the game, and it was very early. It was the very first drive for the Ware County Gators, and a little bit of a trick play, maybe a flip over to Dedrick Mills, and Dedrick Mills just spotted DeAndre Taylor, who raced into the end zone. We called it 67 yards on the play. He kind of drew the defense, Dusty, and aired it out.
Well, you know, we talk about athletic ability from so many players, but did you see him run and pass right there? I mean, that right there was a great play for him, and probably will be one of his most memorable plays as a football player, no matter what level he goes to.
Yeah, Subway play of the game right there. Dedrick Mills to DeAndre Taylor, 67 yards and a touchdown, and Ware County took over the lead right there and never looked back as he gets a high five from his head coach, Franklin Stevens. So we're going to take another break right here on our WSAV Thursday Night Blitz post-game show. We will be right back with more right after these messages.
Welcome back to the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week. Now, more of the Savannah Power Sports Center post-gaming show.
Welcome back to the post-game show here up in the press box with Ware County coming up with a big win over Brunswick. Head football coach Franklin Stevens, Dedrick Mills joining. We're going to start with you, Coach. First of all, you said 3 weeks ago started your playoffs, and each was a playoff game. You put in a strong performance in today's playoff game.
Well, it's good. You know, we had a couple of little downs in the middle of the season right there, and our kids just being able to kind of get back on track. And we dug a hole for ourselves. We lost those games, and it's just one of those things to get in the playoffs. Our kids were going to have to fight and claw and start the playoffs. You know, it had to be that playoff-type attitude and, you know, give those guys credit. Over the last 3 weeks, they put together a string of wins, and they finished it off tonight against a good Brunswick team. Thought we played extremely well. And it was important for our seniors to go out with a win tonight. This may be the last time they play in this stadium. We want it to be a special memory for them, you know, 20 years from now. They can kind of talk about, you know, what happened this night. However, just never know how this thing may work itself out. Hey, we could get another game here, and we may not, but regardless, the sight that those guys came in, took control of their destiny tonight and got us in the playoffs.
Coach, you talked about the seniors, that this could be their last, but we saw a lot of them chip in today. You had a lot of different big plays. Talk about so many different players performing, and that's got to be great for a coach heading into the playoffs.
Well, you know, it's that thing of challenging our kids and, you know, giving them opportunities and creating opportunities for those guys, and then they've got to make good on them. Probably midweek, our offensive coordinator, Spurlock, he said, well, we're going to open the game up with a halfback pass. And, you know, when 26 is back there running the football, I've been saying all year long, he's going to draw some interest. And, you know, you're going to get guys that want to kind of come and see what he's about and come try to get him on the ground. So he did a great job of executing right there and delivering the mail on the first play of the game. Another senior, DeAndre Taylor, had a big interception for a touchdown last week. You know, somehow they made a throw, made a catch, and next thing you know, first play of the game, hey, it's a touchdown. Let's get it rolling.
All right, Dedrick, we didn't bring you up here just to stand and listen to Coach and I. You know, let's first of all, let's start with what Coach talked about, that first play of the game. Exciting to throw a 67-yard touchdown, 1-for-1 passing, I believe, for 67 yards. Pretty good stats.
Yes, sir. I really ain't know it was like it was going to be a good – well, I knew it was going to be a good play because we've been working on it for a week strong, so – I mean, we've really been working on it longer than that, but just to find the time to put it in now. So had to go out and execute and play.
One of the leaders of this football team, you know, what did you talk about with your players, knowing that this coaches can preach all they want, but the players have to tell themselves and the leaders of the team, this was you won and you went into the playoffs. Is that what you guys talked about, saying, guys, let's just make the playoffs and worry about everything else later?
We ain't really focused. Like, we focus on playoffs, but man, we gotta win one game at a time. Like, you gotta. That first thing I told them, man, we gotta come together and play as a team. And we came together tonight, played as a team. We've been playing as a team for the past 2 weeks. And 2 games that we lost, man, I guess kind of selfish in between there, but we all got back together, got back on the right track, came back in, won the game.
Well, our Subway Blitz play of the game was your first touchdown pass, and our performance of the game is also Mr. Mills here taking that. I know we had I think the big stat is 1-for-1 passing for 67 yards. You also had a rushing touchdown and played big on defense. Talk about your performance and how you led this football team to a win tonight.
My performance tonight, man, I had to come out here and do it for my team, man. I'm a senior, man. I got to come out and step out. I'm a D1 athlete. So as being a D1 athlete, you got to come out and make big-time plays. Like Coach always tells me, man, you that guy, so you got to make them plays, man.
Coach, you talk about his performance tonight, and obviously you played high school and college football, and you know what it's like for that senior to get a big game, especially possibly the final one at home.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just an unbelievable feeling, like I said, in the way they went out and did it. You know, the thing he's going to remember 20 years from now is getting talked about one of those big offensive linemen on that interception return right there on the 1-yard line. So, you know, we're sitting there going, score, he's a running back, score, 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 score. And next thing we know, offensive lineman tackling. But, you know, Deidre's done a great job, and, you know, we've challenged him as being the bell cow of the football team. And as he said, when you're that Division I guy, people should know who you are. And your players got to, dictate that. And this season, he's having a great season for us right now, and he's been a great leader for us. And hopefully, he can continue to lead us and just win one more football game.
Well, by the way, that offensive lineman is Deontay Demery, who has scholarship offers from probably every SEC school.
Yeah,
there it is.
It's still an offensive lineman.
Well, congratulations. One last question then for you, Coach. You have to feel real good heading into the playoffs. Now, the real playoffs after a performance like you put from top to bottom today.
Oh, yeah. We're going to go back and we're going to do what we've been doing, which is focus, work on fundamentals. And, it's good to have that big win going into the playoffs, and hopefully we can build on it. And, our kids will find a way to win a football game next week, and that's what it's about, scratching and clawing. And at the end of it, in 4 quarters, you got to have more points than the other team.
Well, thank you very much. Diedrich Mills, congratulations. Our performance of the game brought to you by some. Coach, congratulations on a big win as well. I'll let you two sneak out of here. We do appreciate you guys coming up here for sure as a big win for the Ware County Gators. We'll see if I can get my partner back here. I'm not sure if he snuck out of here as well. It was a final score of 42-5, and I'm trying to track him down. I think he might have left, folks. Where's Dusty? Well, he's here. I knew he was still here. He was stepping away. Dusty, I thought you might have left us before we wrap things up here.
And somebody said something about free food back there, and instinct took over.
And I think Dan Flaxer said, you know what, he's probably back there eating chicken wings. And, well, you know what? He might have been right.
That's what they're for, right?
Well, Coach said, obviously this was a performance that he wanted to see, and we talked about how many players. I think the momentum thing's a factor, and, you having played high school, college, and professional football, how much can that momentum mean as you now do head into the true postseason?
It means everything in the world, because you can reflect on nothing but the good things that you did when you go into the playoff. When you go into the playoff scene, you say, hey, we're good at this, we're good at that. We got this going for us. We're confident about what we do. We can do great things. And you take that builds that momentum right into the playoffs. Then you get in the championship.
Well, it's been a great season of football, and it's coming to an end here on our 4th and final season. Dusty, your second game with us. We can't thank you enough for joining us and bringing color to our football telecast.
Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed myself immensely, and you guys do such a great job. I look forward to doing this again, look forward to crossing paths with all you guys.
We sure hope we do. Well, our final score as we bring you our final broadcast of the season here tonight, 42-5. All in favor of the Ware County Gators as they head into the 5A playoffs starting up. So that's going to wrap up our broadcast for Dan Flaxer, our producer, director, and for Jerry Perlman, Scott Maley, and the rest of our crew, Dusty Ziegler. I am Ken Slatz for our final broadcast. Good night from Waycross, where the Ware County Gators came up with a 42-5 win over Brunswick on the WSAV Thursday Night Blitz Game of the Week.